episode 27 of the book club. I am James Levine,
I'm Mohammed.
and we were actually just talking about that beautiful intro that we have in the beginning, and uh, how we've done quite a few of the albums from it,
Yeah.
but there was one that was missing.
Right. Yeah, we did Thank Me Later, Section 80, Finally Famous Volume 3, but we didn't do Food and Liquor.
We have not done Food and Liquor.
We haven't even talked about Lupe much.
Uh, right, in general.
Lupe
And he's been
Fiasco.
hanging right there on the intro this whole time,
Just chilling.
just chilling,
Like,
hiding
yeah.
in plain sight.
It's funny because if you look at the cover of Food and Liquor, it's him just chilling, just as he is in the intro. And then around him, he just has a bunch of stuff that influenced him. Like he has a Nintendo DS, like a robot, I think copy of the Quran.
Wait 1 second. I
Yeah.
apologize. Hello? 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 Can't seem to be heard
Check. Yo.
right now. Okay. All right. We are good.
Cool.
Um,
Hey, that's me.
haven't actually covered. Have we had even an album that's had a Lupe feature?
Uh,
No, huh?
no, not that I can recall. None that I could recall at all.
So this would be the first official time that anybody who's watched the book club has even heard Lupe's voice, huh?
This is like issue number 1. This
This
is
is-
collector's item. Like, might want to like download this twice. One
Right.
to resell in the future. One to
One
hold
to
on
keep,
yeah.
right? One that you never watch.
We
A
should
file.
release this as an NFT.
This episode
should be a
specifically.
NFT
It should.
because it's Lupe
Right.
Fiasco's first appearance.
Right. We're only gonna.
But it's like in the liner notes it says Lupe, but like it says in the liner notes, previously appeared on intro, never appeared in story. First
Right.
appearance in story specifically.
we're only gonna have 10
Yeah.
issues of this NFT of this episode.
Only 10.
So I would, if I were you, I would just keep one in a like a thumb drive and just never watch it.
And put
Just
that thumb drive
keep
in
it
a
there.
safe.
Right. Put it on eBay later. Take it to like a trade show some
It's
point.
gonna be insanely expensive.
Um, 1 second, just getting some.
Ooh, an error has occurred.
So, before we get to Food and Liquor, which one of my favorite albums, if I recall, one thing that we kind of do well is we revisit old things with like a fresh view. Some stuff has held up the test of time, some hasn't. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that works. But before that, we need to get into our new music because it's Friday somewhere in the world. And new songs just came out, and 50 said, if I listen to albums and study them, does that make me an athlete? What up, fellas? 50, that does actually make you an athlete. This is actually an athletic show.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely. It's a competition.
us, exactly. Our new songs that we
Mhm.
have this week, we have I feel like we've been getting away a little bit from, we've been exploring, but we're going to come back and give you a hip hop theme show this week. We have Lupe Fiasco and we have some new songs that are out. The first one is actually an artist that you had said never really listened to much of.
Yeah.
Right.
Funny enough, 50 himself recommended him to me. It's Corday, or I guess he was known as Wine B Corday.
Formerly
Corday,
known-
Wine B
yeah.
Corday. Yeah, FKA. Yeah, I just haven't gotten around to checking him out, but I guess he's very lyrical and all that good stuff. All that good stuff us backpackers like.
Right. And I can't even say like I've heard much of him. So I don't know what kind of direction, because I feel like on book club,
Uh,
that kind of rapper, like the lyrical miracle, right? It's we've seen it go the direction of like a J. Cole type.
Uh-huh.
We've seen it go the direction of like a Earl Sweatshirt type.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what we're gonna officially get from this. I couldn't tell you.
I think wordplay type I think wordplay is what we're gonna get. Let's see.
Zara actually told us that YBN broke up. So breaking news for all you YBN fans out there, they broke up. So there's no longer YBN Corday or YBN. I forgot the other ones, but shout out to all the YBNs who dropped the YBN.
Is it YBN or YNB?
YNB. A long time ago they broke up.
It's okay.
okay.
They broke up.
They broke up.
Maybe they perhaps broke up over what?
Didn't?
Oh, it's YBN. Okay, yep. Namir, that's right. That's the other one.
Namir, that's the one I was thinking of. 50 said, didn't Jay-Z say Lupe was the next him or something like that?
Yeah.
I believe he did, but Jay-Z says a lot of stuff.
Ooh, we should have put pressure on.
You know what? We're not gonna bend to the will of Jay-Z.
Jay-Z was throwing us that corporate money to put pressure on, though.
He was, but we can't be bought on the book club, all right?
He came through with a lot of bottles of Douce, but we said no, sir.
No.
I said, Douce yourself a favor and get that shit out.
You will not buy our integrity, Jay-Z.
We will not play pressure.
Now, Jay-Z.
If we did, it would be just Lupe.
If
first.
we want to
just
hit
kidding,
up somebody
Jay-Z.
like Rolex and have Rolex sponsor the show, we can talk.
We'll play pressure all night on repeat.
All straight. We'll just do
we'll break it down bar for bar.
Just for you.
So it seems that I'm sewing jeans.
I'll just need Rolexes on both wrists, though, if that's the case. I need 2 of them.
Me too.
Tell time any way I look. Matter of fact, I need one that's kind of like the Ghostface eagle.
Oh, nice.
But just a watch at the end.
I need one that's on a necklace, so if I'm not looking at my hands, I'll look down and find out what time
it's
it
like
is.
Facing like this, right?
Yes, good call. I didn't think of that. I did not think of that, but yes.
You know what's pretty cool you just don't see anymore? We should bring
pocket
back
watches.
Yeah.
You check it.
Oh,
you know what would be cool? Shit, they're gonna steal our idea. A digital one of that, like a la an Apple Watch.
But just like
it's just time, and you could do little different interfaces. It's digital.
Isn't that an iPhone?
Good shit. Yeah, I was gonna eventually take it there.
Yeah, you mean, though. Like if you took like the face of an Apple Watch and just put on like a chain.
You need a chain. You need a chain
exactly,
for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, but, we should just put our iPhones on chains and just
have it
pull
inside
them out.
the pocket,
Yeah,
right?
pull them out.
It is 5 o'clock, and I got a text. And the weather today is. Nah, we need to bring back sundials. That's what we need to do.
That's sick.
All this telling time shit. Nah, let the sun actually tell you.
You never know when you get mechanical failure.
Also, I didn't know that the YBN clan became friends through Xbox Live.
Ooh, sick.
That's the most Gen Z thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, this is Corday, and this is featuring Anderson .Paak. Us both not being too familiar with Corday. This is going to be an interesting introduction into it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give it a listen. Let's see what we think, what you guys think. Talk to us in the chat. Let us know. This is Corday featuring Anderson .Paak. This is a new single called 2 10s.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Turn the beat up a little bit. Yeah. Okay. 2 friends and they both 10s, looking nice. 2 bent, I should call it quits, but I'm not. No chances, we all dance in the light. Tell me what's the odds we can all get a bite.
Okay, the last time we tried that, it didn't end well. Plus, you never know the story that they friends tell. And off the brown liquor, nigga feel like Denzel.
Out in Washington, in the DC, with a chocolate bitch. Lil freak bitch, get geeked off erotic shit.
So what you do?
Shut the club up like so y'all
Man, that's that other shit. Paying child support through the government. Joint custody, weekends, you can't touch the
Man, I love this bitch. We gon' travel and fill up the bucket list. How about 10 kids on the ranch on some southern
You
shit?
mean sucker shit. Slaves to the pussy since you discovered it. 10 bands on Chanel purse, that's bad budgeting. Plus you niggas always together, it's mad smothering. You simping over bitches, I never thought it would come to this.
Why you always mad? I just wanna have fun with it. The winters ain't bad when you cruising in the summer with 2 friends and they both 10s, looking nice. 2 bent, I should call it quits, but I'm not. No chances, we all dance in the light. Tell me what's the odds odds? We can all get a bite. Two friends and they both tens, looking nice. Too bent, I should call it quits, but I'm not. No chances, we all dance in the light. Tell me what's the odds? We can all get a bite.
See, I'm not trying to be overbearing or give you a lecture. I just want you to see this shit from a different perspective. See, every hoe is a dog, and every dog has his day. You can't be loving on every mud that be falling astray.
My nigga, watch what you say. How you blocking the way? You just talking, nothing's coming from a logical
Man,
place.
I'm kicking knowledge today. You getting brolic today. Why you paying her son tuition?
Cause I'm his father today.
Okay.
Two friends and they both tens, looking nice. Too bent, I should call it quits, but I'm not. No chances, we all dance in the light. Tell me what's the odds? We can all get a bite. Two friends and they both tens, looking nice. Too bent, I should call it quits, but I'm not. No chances, we all dance in the light. Tell me what's the odds? We can all get a bite.
That was 210's Corday and Anderson .Paak.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think of that?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like how they just exchange flows, and I could always appreciate old basketball references where he mentioned shoot the club up like Stojakovic. I was like, yes, thank you for naming a 2000s shooter that us old people like me could relate to. I'm not even gonna say old folks because a lot of people keep up with that stuff, but for that specific time period.
Right. Timo, I see in the chat. Shout out to Timo. I love when, and I feel like it's something that we just don't see as much. And I have a theory. I think it's because we're kind of in this day and age of we're in like the Google Drive era of rap, to where if I say, hey, I want you to get on a song, I can just send you the whole project in Google Drive, and then you could open it up at your house, your studio, or whatever, record it, send it back to me, and it's like, okay, we just worked on a song together. I think that, obviously, I think that's kind of the standard now,
Right.
just because technology allows you to do that, and I think that obviously we get good features still to this day that's kind of sensitive, blah blah blah, whatever, but you don't get the same kind of back and forth fun, like old locks type of rapping when you're not in the same room. This felt like they wrote it together, and I think that kind of
makes it great.
Right. I think that is what first jumped out at me is Corday was kind of as good as advertised in his way. But I almost walked away more impressed with Anderson .Paak rapping. It's not something I really hear too often.
Absolutely.
And I thought it was cool. It was interesting. It was fun. It was, I can't really say what it reminds me of, but it is something that's kind of cool I would play in the background.
Right, yeah.
With other songs that kind of fit that kind of
vibe.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I think it's going to make... at least for me, I think it's going to make the top 3 as of our current list.
It just may.
Yeah.
It just may. I couldn't guarantee it, but
we'll
it
see
may.
how it goes.
Let's see what we have in here. I have, they're just kind of, the chat's just chatting. I'm going to let y'all chat.
I see 50 says better now, whore.
The next song we have is SG Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
SG Lewis is releasing a new album. He's a DJ producer type, kind of house, little disco-ish. Released a new album today.
Okay.
He's British.
All right.
From the British Isles.
Fish and
London
chips.
town, fish and chips.
Newspaper. God bless the Queen.
The Manchester Derby.
Yeah. FA Cup tomorrow.
He probably eats. The only thing I'm gonna hold against him, I love SG Lewis, but only thing I'm gonna hold against him is he probably eats beans for breakfast. But all the British do, so I can't hold it all against them.
Sure.
But you ever see a British breakfast?
Is it beans? I imagine it's like tea and scones. It's not tea and scones.
It is.
It's not. Was it beans?
You know what? There's only one way I can properly show you here. It is not. It's not for the faint of heart, though. I'm gonna let you know that. Give me one moment. This is worth having to actually show you. And show everybody in case they have never seen it before. So let me divert your attention over here. This is actually what they, so like, look at this, bro. What? Just tomato slices.
Interesting. I thought that was like, that's not like turkey or ham or beef slices.
No, so this is blood sausage.
Okay.
Right. And that's being just mushroom slices, just straight up.
Straight out of the farm.
Just off of the farm. Really awful eggs. It looks like potatoes. This is like, what's going on here? Let's go. Are you guys okay in London? Are you all right? I'm just saying. I'm not judging. I'm not judging. I'm just saying. You know, if that's what you guys enjoy, that's what you guys enjoy.
The slices of tomatoes, interesting. Literally look like meat to me. It's crazy.
Just slices of tomatoes. But you know, Ashley
Blood
Lewis,
sausage.
we're not gonna hold it against you.
Yeah.
This song is called "Oh Laura." Here we go. Let's see.
You never showed me as a type. Thought I'd be my cards right, but I didn't make a ponytail. Though I thought I knew you well. Oh, I guess you never see the signs. Didn't fashion up the lights, but I can see over the hill. 'Cause your face is so unreal. Oh, you might think that you know me, how things are going to be. I've been watching you closely. You've got no future with me. Oh, Laura, I'm cutting you off. I've been wanting to tell you all evening. I'm letting you go. Oh, darling, I'm cutting you off. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you all evening we're not going home. Remember kissing in the rain? I've never seen those things again. 'Cause I know exactly where you've been. And for certain what you did. Oh, you really took me for a fool. Just looking for a good time. Stop saying that you care. I'm gonna leave you right here. Oh, you might think that you know me, how things are going to be. I've been watching you closely. You've got
That was S.G. Lewis. Oh, Laura. You know, it kind of, you were kind of saying it kind of feels kind of 80s ish. You were saying like Revenge of the Nerds. I was thinking like, you know, John Hughes type Breakfast Club. Is that his name John Hughes? I feel like I always ruin his name.
John Hughes. Yeah.
John Hughes. I feel like
Yeah, initially it felt like Revenge of the Nerds finale music, but
Right.
a little further into it, it really reminded me of, we looked it up, it was Jay-Z's Always Be My Sunshine off of
Right.
Volume 1. I guess it was the synths that really, that itself, of course, was a sample. I thought it was cool. It's cool getting that retro vibe in 2023 and still a little original, felt a bit modern compared to what we just discussed.
right.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. Yeah. I think there will always be for some reason, those like old Those old 80 cents.
Oh, I love
just
them. I'm
never
a
go
sucker
out
for
of
that
style.
shit. Like, yeah, hell yeah.
Like you'll always, every generation will get like somebody that uses it that's gonna enjoy it to some kind of degree. You know?
Yeah, something special about synths, man.
I think that's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. SG Lewis, you are forgiven for eating beans and tomato slices for breakfast.
Hey.
It's all good. Next we have new Daniel Caesar single called "Do You Like Me?" Are you familiar with Daniel Caesar a little bit?
No, I'm not.
So let me give you a quick little TLDR.
Oh.
Daniel Caesar kind of, this maybe like 2017, hit the scene as alt R&B, let's kind of call it, was kind of beginning to pick up steam. So like I could roughly call it like a branch off of like a Frank Ocean direction,
Okay.
you know.
Not the Toronto sound?
Not, the production isn't.
Okay.
He's from Toronto.
Oh.
Yeah, he's from Toronto.
Oh, but it's not going to be a similar sound as those other artists from there?
Right, I wouldn't say.
Okay,
I would say
interesting.
there's a certain kind of production, almost like 40 production.
Yeah,
that they kinda
right.
use. I wouldn't say that that's what he does. He had an EP that kind of picked up a lot of steam because it had he covered Streetlights.
Okay.
And then he released his album. He had a couple bigger songs on the album that were kind of like, it almost reminds me of like music you'd play at a wedding.
Okay.
Like that kind of like slow love song type
Oh,
of thing, right? But interesting, right? Then he kind of like got canceled for a little bit.
What did he do?
He was hanging out with like Yes Jules, and then he told people like, I think it was like a live, like an Instagram live or something. He was like, "You guys should cancel me then if you guys feel," and then people actually did kind of cancel him.
What's a Yes Jules?
Yes Jules is like this, I don't know, the white girl who's like a promoter, internet personality. I don't know why people were disliking her from the beginning.
Is she underage or something?
No,
Oh,
very weird internet situation.
That
Like
is
it's
weird,
hard to explain.
so two consenting adults?
But then he kind of went away for a little bit, and then he was on the Justin Bieber song "Peaches."
Okay.
I get my peaches down in Georgia. Yeah, so it's a huge song,
Uh-huh.
and he was featured on it, right? So it's kind of like a big, I want to say comeback, but that was like the biggest thing that had happened to him kind of since then.
Sure.
So this is the first single from
Since,
that, right?
Okay, wow.
Since his canceling, right?
so this is gonna have to be fire.
Has to be
Like
you're,
it's do or die.
exactly.
Okay.
You're up against the gun right here, so to
Oof.
speak, the proverbial gun.
What if he further provokes it with a title like "Do You Like Me"? It's just like a straight up survey. It's not even a song.
If it's like a very meta song where he's
Yeah.
like really asking, like, "Is it okay if I come back? Is the coast clear?"
Like me? How what'd you think of the song I did with Bieber?
And you're always able to come back from a quote unquote canceling as long as you didn't do like some heinous like racist thing or commit a crime. You know what I'm saying? I like the racist thing. People could be coming back from that. It's like the crime. Like Harvey Weinstein can't come back.
Yeah.
He's canceled. Bill Cosby is canceled. R. Kelly's
Hulk
canceled.
Hogan came back.
So I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
you know, if you just say some stuff, you can probably come back. But if you have to court, you probably, if you have an open court case, you probably can't come back from that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's see
Daniel Caesar.
if he delivered.
Let's
So,
see.
Daniel Caesar, do you like me?
Do you like the way I talk? rodeo. I hate that I'm so jaded. Yeah, it's cool but overrated. I wanna be in love again. Oh, at first I was fucking your friend, but I wanted you. Are we wrong? I guess that depends. Will we end up together? Will you have my kids? You better. I wanna be in love again. I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll wait and see.
Little Daniel Caesar, new single, Do You Like Me?
Not to be confused with Lil Daniel Caesar.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Exactly. This is just a small amount of Daniel
Daniel
Caesar,
Caesar.
but not
Lil
Daniel Caesar. Did you like it?
I thought it was cool. Yeah, I like this type of music. I think Timo described it perfectly. He said this, that late night drive home music. Unless he was referring to the previous track.
I think he was, but you could
He
use
got it
that
right
for this.
twice.
Exactly.
He got it right twice.
He was, or maybe that's the theme of these 4 songs is late
Everything's
night.
just drive music. However, if I want this type of vibe, I could get a better, something better out of Black Pumas, like a band like Black Pumas. I think other artists kind of do it better,
Mhm.
but it's still cool.
Right. I think it belongs in the playlist with those.
Yeah.
It's a cool movie, like Thundercat. Like it has there's a cool place for it. Like it's a niche. If I'm ever building out a playlist like that, it's something I will put in there.
Okay.
I agree. Enjoyed it. Your comeback is doing pretty good. Written by Raphael Sadiq, so he helped write it. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Which brings us to our final song. It is the one, the only Lil Yachty, not to be confused with A Little Yacht.
Mm-mm.
This is
2 different things.
Lil Yachty, who released a new album. This song is called semicolon parenthesis failure
Parentheses.
but like
Open parentheses.
right, and then semicolon once again. So I'm guessing that it's made to look like sad face, failure, happy face.
That's what I'm getting out of it too.
Little emoticons,
Okay.
whatever they're called.
A failure, all in lowercase.
Right, all in lowercase. That's not to be confused. And this is from the new album that just came out, and that album is called
Let's start here.
Here.
Period.
Period.
Which is
Right.
interesting. The S and the H are capitalized, but there's still a period at the end.
It's got a lot of interesting punctuation.
It's
on
an
this one.
attempt at a sentence, but it's interesting. It's very artistic.
So let's see what Lil Yachty has brought for us here with this song, Failure.
I've seen, I've seen failure a few times. More recently than before, actually. You know, it's quite interesting how much more complicated things get when you become quote unquote rich and famous. I say quote unquote because, you know, one man's rich to the next could be a step from poverty. It's hard explaining that to someone narrow-minded, seeing the world with 2 eyes shut. And I realized that, you know, some people can't feel what they haven't seen. So, there's no point in me trying to explain my troubles. It's not that I don't think anyone cares, but I think, like, it's up to me to fix or deal with them, you know? I kind of look at everything like, well, no matter what, I mean, it could be worse, you know? Like, okay, say if I lost a finger. I'll be like, well, still have 9. Or even like when someone broke into my house, I felt like, well, I'm certain they needed it more than I did. These things are replaceable, you know? It kind of just helps with stress levels to think that way, you know? Kind of like, well, it could be worse. Oh well. Easier said than done, I'm sure. The failure.
Now look, we've had a lot of songs that we've done just on the book club in general, right? I don't know if we've ever had something that opened up such a personal, intimate picture of somebody in their life while also providing motivation for us as the listener for our everyday life.
And just like redefine music all while doing what you just mentioned. Just redefining what a song can be, what to expect, what not to expect.
See, I don't look at this like just a track off of an album. I look at this more like, you know, what do we call like, you know, a Mark Twain short story? You know what I'm saying? What would we call a Edgar Allan Poe, you know, a Allen Ginsberg, you know, just like the great writers of our time and, you know, generations. This is what I would then, this is like the modern version of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What's crazy is you know, you got all those authors you just mentioned on the backdrop of such amazing music. I mean, did you listen to those dreamy-esque synths throughout where it's like waning in and out while with a very somber, mellow, very low tempo beat that seldomly ever peaked at all, just keeping everything at a constant, you know? The production was great. Like, I'm gonna have to see who the producer on this one was, but
I don't want to give too much away here.
Okay.
Because it's, you know, it just came out.
Sure, right.
I heard that this was actually a collaboration with Tom York and Andre 3000 came together to put this together.
That makes sense, yeah. I could see that.
You know, when he was talking about, because I think about it, you know, like as a rapper, you know, just as a person, like one of the most vulnerable things that can happen to you is your house being robbed.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You don't want it to happen. You hate when it does. You know, you hate even hearing about other people it happens to, right?
Yeah.
But for him to kind of look at that situation and say, you know what? They probably needed those things more than I did because they're just things, right?
Sure.
You know, like there's you can tell this is somebody who's well studied in Confucius.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell this is somebody who's well studied in maybe some Buddhist ways, probably did some studying.
Very zen.
He probably preparing for this album.
Zen the fuck out.
Spent some time in Tibet.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it sounds like.
That shit Jay Electronica's on.
That. Right. So
what'd you think of the lyrics? And the flow.
You know, I couldn't something like this, it feels wrong giving a number system to it, or like trying to say like
not
this
your
is
typical 16 bars with your AB rhyme scheme.
This is a man pouring out his heart. This is a man that's not only just pouring out his heart and opening it up to us, but also imparting wisdom that we can take on our everyday lives. And I'll just say this, if this album is full of these type of songs, I can see this going down as one of the albums of the year.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And you know what's interesting? It's titled Let's Start Here. Let's start at failure. Wow. We're going to do a rating bit, right?
So we're going to say...
for that, I don't think it even belongs in the top 100 in the sense that, like, it's beyond your traditional track, man.
That's got to be something we revisit at the end of the year.
Yeah, let's put it at the bottom for now.
Right.
Unless you think it belongs elsewhere.
No, I feel like this is sometime this year. We're going to go back. We got to let this album simmer.
Yeah.
We're going to come back and probably do an episode on this album itself. Yeah. But as far as the 3 songs that we have, so right now our top 5 is Gangsta Boo by Ice Spice, C'est Comme Ka by Paramore, Dracula, Julia Wolf, 202 20302 by Ryuichi Sakamoto, and Ricky Henderson by Baby Tron. Let's start with Corday 210s. Is this a top 10 song, a top 5?
I would put it maybe I guess I'll put it above Dracula.
Okay, all right. So we're
What
putting
about
this
you
up
though?
here.
This is a us thing.
I like it there.
Yeah.
I like it there.
Above
yeah.
Dracula?
I like
Okay,
it there.
cool.
Oh Laura. I would put this above Dracula. Also. Would I put it above the Corday? Personally, I would.
Okay.
But what do you think?
Okay, I would have put it somewhere after Bjork. Yeah, even before Babytron before Bjork. Sorry, excuse me, before Bjork. But now looking at it, before Babytron makes sense. I don't think it beats even Ryuichi Sakamoto.
Okay.
But we could do the happy medium as we tend to do.
That. We get that right here.
No.
I like this spot.
Do you really? We could do the happy medium and put it.
Once you kind of looked and you were like, I'd put it above Babytron. My second thought as I would put that beat behind the Ryuichi.
Yeah, like when
like
it comes
like
to
that.
those two pieces.
Like there's
it's a
good backstory behind the Ryuchi that I like.
That always helps too.
I think that's a good spot. It seems like right now the baseline is like, is it better than Ricky Henderson? I would put Daniel Caesar above Ricky Henderson personally. Maybe it could just be a bias of just a newer sounding song. It's like a new song that we did. But what do you think?
Let's see. Yeah. Overall, it's a better song. I would say, yeah. That's fair to me. I mean, you cut me slack on "Oh Laura," so that's absolutely fair. Makes sense. And failure is just
We're gonna keep it
meant
there.
for
It's just
meant to. It's not meant for these lists. Yeah,
It was just meant to exist.
it's beyond this. It's bigger than this.
So
cool.
Congratulations,
Gangsta Boo.
Ice Spice for
Oh,
holding down
yeah.
number
2
one
consecutive weeks.
2 weeks in a row.
As if anything less than 2 could be consecutive.
Hey, we'll see if she holds on to that for the third week.
I know.
Now, before we get into Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, it is time for our new thing review. It may not
New
be a
thing.
new thing, but it's a new thing that we've talked about on here. I'll
Yes.
say that. Today, last week was La Croix.
Mm-hmm.
This week,
What do we
a
have there?
beverage you may be familiar with,
The originator.
the Red Bull sugar-free 12-ounce.
Yeah.
12-ounce can.
12 filter ounce can.
Now you were saying you happen to be doing like a little research.
Funny enough, it's so
information.
odd. Yeah, we didn't even so I just off the top of the head, right? So I was just looking up. I was interested over the fact that Red Bull owns RB Leipzig in Germany. They own RB Salzburg in Austria, and as well as the New York Red Bulls, right?
Right.
Amongst other teams as well, in various sports. They're known in their motor sports and things like that. They have the annual contests and such that we've
Right.
discussed before. So as I was researching this, I kind of began reading up on the history of especially what led them to get RB Salzburg. And I find out that this company is actually based out of Salzburg, Austria.
Red Bull is an
Austrian company. Yes, it
Interesting.
is. Yes. The owner had made a trip. I'm not sure where, perhaps Thailand. And the only reason I say Thailand is because he got a drink that's originally from Thailand called, I believe it's called Krating Dang. It uses the same logo actually, or well, Red Bull ended up using their logo, but we'll get to that. So he gets a drink and he drinks it, and it cures his jet lag, because he had a terrible jet lag because he was on vacation or whatever, and he cured the jet lag, and he just found it fascinating. So he took that back to him to Austria and worked with the co-owner of like Kraton Dang, or again whatever it's called, and came up with Red Bull in Austria. And I think the first time they sold it out there was like in 1986.
Oh, it's been
Wow.
around for a while.
Yeah, in the Austrian Alps for skiers, I believe, as a
Okay.
premium beverage.
Right,
It was
right,
advertised as lightly carbonated, da 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 da, and it was marketed as a premium beverage initially. So funny enough, that Thai drink I believe is still around, and it uses that same sun and two bowls logo. Uh, but yeah, fucking Red Bull holding it down, and it's
Interesting.
even crazy. I mean, not crazier, but another crazy thing is where they took RB Leipzig basically, because I believe it was around like in the late 2000s they decided to buy this team out of Leipzig that was in the bottom leagues of the German Bundesliga, and they decided that they're gonna have this like decade long plan or however long to bring this team up to the top, tier to the
Right.
Bundesliga. And so Red Bull buys them, and like lo and behold, today I believe they're third on the table to this day. They've been really close to giving up Bayern a run for their money because Bayern's just consecutively winning the Bundesliga, and I believe they've even made it as far as Champions League. So it's just it's crazy seeing where this energy drink money comes in.
That is crazy.
What
Like
role it plays. Yeah,
the origin of it. All right.
yeah.
Remember, I feel like they do like a
Cheers, good sir.
there's a lot of energy drinks,
Yeah.
right? But there's an unmistakable taste that Red Bull has.
Oh yeah.
It's
It's the light carbonation that really makes that taste distinct too, I think.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
What's crazy is Red Bull came out. I remember seeing Red Bull in Germany when I was a kid, right? And one of my cousins drank it, and she's like 14 years or 15, 16 years old. She's basically like older teen, and she would drink it, and I would think it's a terrible thing to do because I thought it was an alcoholic beverage as like a 5, 6 year old. So I would always like be like, hey, I'm not gonna tell anyone that you're doing this, but like you shouldn't be drinking alcohol or whatever,
Right.
But I never realized that that's not what this is. Funny enough, as I was doing all this reading on it, I found out it came out in the U.S. in '96. So I found that strange. I would have thought it would have been out here sooner than that as well. Not in '96.
Well,
Again, I remember seeing this like in the early '90s in Germany, as a common thing.
I had seen. Funny enough, I was
Yeah.
watching a. Remember VH1 used to do things that were like, I love the '90s,
'90s,
something
yeah,
like that, right?
absolutely.
And it was talking about Red Bull when it
Oh, that's
hit
pretty cool.
America.
Yeah.
It hit America first
Uh huh.
as I don't know who discovered it. I don't know if it was like a word of mouth thing that Red Bull then kind of took advantage of,
Mm-hmm.
but it was first used as like a mixer for alcoholic drinks. So like
Oh.
a vodka Red Bull was because you would get that caffeine hit. Obviously you're not really, there's like things like Irish coffee and things like that, but coffee has a different kind of effect on your body. Whereas this is almost like a soda, like that kind of thing that's going to mix a little bit easier with like vodka.
Right.
So a vodka Red Bull is actually what got it to hit the States. A lot of college
That's
kids were drinking
interesting.
that. And obviously then they kind of moved over. And I think one thing that Red Bull's always done that was really smart was they kind of captured this, not quite. See, I feel like Monster energy drink kind of moved into this like X Games type of direction, like
Yeah.
Mountain Dew. Red Bull always had this. The best way I can put it is almost like a European prestige, where it's
Yeah,
like
I
Formula
agree.
One cars. Like
Yes,
that's
that's
the kind
that's
of
another great example. Yeah,
like their way
because
of kind
they've
of
sponsored
doing
that as well, and they have a team, I believe, right?
Right.
Right, or Red Bull has a team in F1. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
or at least a car that they sponsor.
That for
Right,
sure.
all
Yeah.
together. But they
I
also
believe
do
they
those
actually
kind
do
of.
have a team. Yeah. Uh huh.
They also do those kind of things where remember they had the dude that skydove from space.
Oh, they sponsored him.
Yeah,
Oh wow. So yeah, exactly. They do
They'll
those little
do-
things. I remember there used to be this Red Bull commercial amongst all the cartoony ones, but there was this other one. It was a live action one or whatever, where it was a scene from one of their events where an airplane would fly over what looked like a dock, and it was just like an airplane that wasn't meant to fly. It was a car with wings more so.
and they just went to the
It's
water.
yeah.
So it was actually this because the Red Bull gives you wings,
Uh-huh.
right? So they had this like competition. I don't even know it's competition event,
Okay.
right? Where you kind of try to make. You know what? I can actually pull
Okay,
this
yeah,
up.
yeah. This is interesting. I never knew what the deal with that was. I'm like, these guys know they're going straight into the water, but why?
It was kind of like old school Wright brothers.
Nice. Okay.
Like make something that flies. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it doesn't fly. Give something wings.
Yeah. Red coal. Hey, get rid of those commies.
I think it's even the flying contest is what it would be called.
Oh, people just see whatever could go the furthest.
Right.
Oh,
just
that
straight
makes it
up,
fun.
just like
It doesn't need to fly. It just needs to go.
right.
That's all good too right now. God damn. Domino's getting free fucking advertisement. Motherfuckers better send us a pizza right now.
Right now, send that over, Domino's.
Send it over, Domino's. We're censoring it out in the replay if you don't.
Stop messing around.
We ain't playing. Nice.
So like they're just straight up, just like. And I don't know if it really was like I wonder what's gonna go the farthest, but like as you can see,
it doesn't
they're
even
throwing
matter.
like
Nothing matters.
right. They're just throwing wings
it.
on stuff, just possibly causing injuries. But it's like this real smart, like, you know, the Red Bull gives you wings type of moniker, like to create an event like that. That they're just like, as you can see, nothing's going pretty far. But I imagine that people started getting pretty creative and like actually putting research to like, because as you see how that one kind of floated a bit.
Yeah, it
like
did.
I'm sure some shit actually kind of gets kind of far.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's
like
see.
it's
I'm
actually got
curious
the
too.
bull here.
How far? This one won't. The bull's too heavy. The other guy was kind of trying for. Oh, the top part though.
It was yeah.
The other guy was trying with the aerodynamic shape that his red one had.
I feel like his top was too, you know,
Tilted. in a
right,
sense,
right. He had a shot. This
With
one's
the
going
mic.
nowhere.
It's a mic drop. Yeah, no, this one's going like head first. Yeah.
This was the mic drop. This was a
That's,
good call. That was a good call.
Yeah, this is pretty silly. I like it.
Right, it has like a silliness to it. That's a good way to put it. But you know, kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, I dig it.
Let's see one more. Let's see. Hey, people out there in
Yeah.
like boats and everything. This is not going
Yeah,
anywhere.
this one kind of looks dangerous. I would not want to like.
Be the one that's on it,
donate
right?
Oof.
Yeah, no, it's an
Yeah.
injury waiting to happen. Like, there's no way they thought that. This is like Jackass.
Yeah.
He even
Look,
bailed on it himself.
That bottom rear part must have came crashing on him. The chair makes it suck.
Yeah, this isn't going anywhere. It's not even going like fast down the runway.
It'll probably like have him flip over and belly flop. Oh yeah, it did. Oh, what the? Damn. Too good.
But you know, Red Bull. Now that you know the history of it,
Pour me some more of
no,
your drink.
absolutely, grab some of that.
The OG ones are 8.4, right? 8.4 filter ounce.
8.4, correct.
You want more? There's a little left. Oops.
Bam, perfect, excellent. Cause you know sometimes it's not in a coffee mood. Sometimes a Red Bull just kind of hits the spot.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it can tend to be a bit more refreshing.
Yeah.
I guess than like a coffee could.
It's a cleaner taste.
Right. And you know, I just recently seen fun fact. Jack in the Box is now offering a drink.
Oh, the Red
that's
Bull
like
swirl, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
smoothie.
yeah. I'm gonna have to try that out.
Hey, Jack in the Box just coming through for all the stoners, man. Munchie meals, Red Bulls.
If you need a little pick me up, you got jet lag,
Hey,
something like that, we would recommend a Red Bull, sugar-free or sugar, whatever you desire. They got like a lot of cool flavors
We didn't-
nowadays too.
we didn't even get to our actual task, man. We got to discuss how the sugar-free compares to OG and whether the 12 filter ounce is recommended over regular 8.4. I want to hear your take. I'm guessing since you had a 12 here, Is that an 8.4 over there?
That's also a 12.
12.
I'm gonna be honest.
Are
they
you a
hit me
12
with,
guy?
With this one, they hit me with the 2 for $5. So I got a deal on this. But I think it depends on how what I get with my Red Bull is kind of how I would judge like my coffee. If I go to Starbucks, if I get like a tall grande venti, I guess it's like how bad do I need it?
So it varies.
Right. So it's never going to necessarily be like if I'm going on a road trip, I might get the 20 ounce.
Sure.
You know,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
really bust it open
The
like
big ones.
that.
Yeah. For me, I like the 8.4s at times, but due to other energy drinks like Monster and Rockstar that like have you drink 16 ounces of that shit and you're
Right.
drinking it because it's there and that's the one size that it comes in
Right.
for the most part. I think it just increased my craving for the taste of these drinks, so I tend to go with the bigger sizes, maybe even slightly bigger than 12 filter ounce. And another great point you made was the price difference. Sometimes they just be plugging up the bigger sizes, and you're like, why?
Why would I not? You know what I'm
It's
saying? It
economical.
almost
Economy's
feels-
tough, man. You got to
exactly.
do it.
It would just it would be dumb to not.
That 8.4 is classic, however, because it has a size that you recognize. Nothing else. No other canned drink has that silhouette.
Right.
You
I
see
agree.
it?
I agree.
It's it's a Red Bull.
Right.
With Rockstar and Monster, it could be any energy drink with that silhouette at this
It
point.
could be a soda in a can,
Yeah.
like a larger soda.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's a. You're
Oh,
right.
that's true. Now they are doing like those bigger.
I
But
completely
the
agree
8.4
though.
is a
Like
classic little design.
right.
Sugar free though.
I do sugar free.
Mhm.
I guess it's just to give me a little bit more guilt free with it.
Sure.
You know, like I feel like anytime I look at anything that has sugar, especially a drink, I'm always just my jaw drops at the amount of sugar that's in anything.
Mhm.
You know, so I'll try to steer away. You know, when
Okay,
I
yeah.
can. Now, are you a flavor guy? Or are you just straight up original formula?
Original works for me. Even with like a Monster or Rockstar, I go OG. Yeah, I just like the flavor original. The second favorite that I would pick up would probably actually be sugar free as well,
Right.
rather than something flavored. I'm actually, to be honest, I don't know if I've tried flavored Red Bull. Period.
You know,
Yeah.
I have, because if I'm gonna get sugar, I'm gonna like tap in with the flavor.
Okay. What? I think there's a pineapple one that comes like in a yellow can or something.
There's a pineapple. There's a the flavors have gotten so sophisticated that in my theories, I think that they went with more directions of flavors as mixed drink kind of mixtures. You know, to like let people like that make
Going
that
back
Red
to the
Bull
whole
vodka,
American takeover
right,
thing. You
right,
told
right.
me.
That's my theory. I can't.
That makes
confirm
sense.
But they've gotten so sophisticated with flavors. The other day, I didn't get it, but the other day I seen it. It was like a fig flavor.
Oh.
And you know, I'm like a sucker for novelty in general.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I might try that next time I get a chance of just like
What is fig? Is that like a type of tree? Like a oaky tree?
It's a fruit. Fig's a fruit. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But it's you know, it's such a out there fruit that you know you have to kind of think about like is it, you know,
Sure.
what is it?
That's interesting.
So I think that the fact that I think it's a very Red Bull thing for them to, you know, they have like your classic, they have like a blueberry watermelon, like things like that. But I expect the brand of Red Bull to get me a fig, and I enjoy that.
Bro, if they sponsor everything else, why not us?
That's coming next. It has to be.
Red Bull.
And not only that,
Free history lesson, bitch.
but we need a book club flavor. We need our own flavor. What it's gonna be, we're not gonna tell you guys right now until
Genius.
Red Bull cuts the check. Not only that,
Genius.
but so this is the two things I asked from Red Bull. You know, when they get the sponsorship for book club, right?
The book club flavor.
Got the flavor, and we have to host the Fly Awards or the Fly thing.
Absolutely.
That's the two things
It's
that
not
we
gonna
have
get
to
any
do.
better than that.
Have to do just those two things, and then just give us like a jersey of all the teams that you own. That's it.
That
That's
too.
It.
That actually, yeah, that too.
That's all we want. It's the three
not much.
simple things.
Maybe. Well, they're gonna give us free drinks anyways. Well,
Exactly.
what am I even thinking? I was gonna say maybe a few cases of, but
That's gonna keep them coming. Keep 'em coming.
we're gonna be pushing them away. Like, no, my heart, please. No, Por favor.
It'll be and you know, just for those simple things that we want, it'll be the Red Bull presents the book club new music top 30 songs or whatever. We'll give them that.
Of course, no,
Brought to you by the flavor that we help them come up with.
Do an occasional review on whatever new flavor they're putting out.
Exactly. That's all we're asking for. Not a big deal. But definitely go out and get Red Bull. Fuck with it. This brings us to our main event here.
Let's do it.
We have Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, the debut album. Do you happen to have a little insight here? Or just Lupe Fiasco or the album in general?
It's like 2006 album. He had dropped 3 parts of Fahrenheit 1st and 15th at that point. 3 mixtapes that really put him on the map, along with the feature on Kanye's Late Registration. Right. That was pre-Food and Liquor. Something that did not put him on the map was he originally was part of like this group out of Chicago called like the Pack. I think they had a deal with, I forgot who, like Capitol Records or Mercury Records, some label like that. And I think they appeared on a track on a girl group album, R&B girl group that was also signed to that label. So whatever label it was, say Capitol had a girl group at the time too, or what, I don't know, 702 or whatever.
Right.
And they appeared on that album or on that song as well. I actually haven't even heard that, and I should check that out now that I think about it. But beyond that, yeah. What about you? What were some of your initial exposures to Lupe prior to this?
I remember he was I guess Touch the Sky would have been like the first initial. Okay. I don't know if I could say like I was like deep onto like
me neither. Like yeah, I think the mixtapes I went back to after the album, right? For the most part,
I do remember he was on the cover of Fader magazine.
Okay,
back when that was, I used to be a big Fader guy.
Nice.
And he was on the cover of it. And fun fact, he actually got signed because he pulled up on he found out Jay-Z was at like a hotel, staying at a hotel, pulled up and like kind of caught him in the lobby and was like rapping for him. Jay-Z didn't sign him, but Jay-Z kind of got him in connection with
Atlantic,
right? With like some A&Rs, ended up landing on Atlantic, but that was kind of the big stamp of approval of like Jay-Z says this guy is next. I think as Stefan had said, I think Jay-Z did actually kind of give him that kind of stamp of approval.
Right.
The Touch the Sky came shortly after. They're both from Chicago. It made sense.
What a crazy verse too, man. So good.
Right.
It's
it's
such a good verse.
And I think that the appeal of Lupe was, I guess we hadn't really seen, I guess maybe since like a RZA, like a rap nerd, like just with a extensive knowledge of just like cool stuff. And it wasn't just like, anime. It was also like Japanese denim, and it was also like,
it's everything.
Right. Like he had such what made Lupe kind of really interesting was, I think, such an eclectic taste that
you know how there's that meme, it's like, oh, he like me for real, it's like he like me FR. It's something that people always post, just you, of course, jokingly, like, oh, if some celebrity does something stupid or whatever, like, oh, he like me for real.
Right.
Lupe had us feeling like that when we were teens.
Exactly.
Man, it's like, look at all this nerdy shit he's into. He like me for real, He like back when we were like 14, 15. It's the shit was godly.
I remember I literally actually I'm trying to imagine if it was in this song or if it was in Go Watch. So I think it is in Go Watch, which is the second album, right?
Yeah.
I remember I think it might have been Complex. It wasn't Fader because that was the first album, but there was another like magazine cover that he did, right? And in it he had like a spread of just like clothes that he was wearing. He had like Bape, he had like different things. But I remember in the song he had said something like, I keep We Ninjas Hanging,
Uh-huh.
right? And like in the magazine spread, he had like, it was like this small, I wonder if I could even find it here. It was like this little Japanese, like this,
Uh-huh.
right? And I remember I literally got one. I thought it was the
Nice.
coolest thing.
Yes.
But the one that I got wasn't, because he had it like hanging off his belt loop,
Uh-huh.
right? And the one that I got
Didn't have
was
a
just
look.
that. So
Oh.
I like sewed in like a little
Nice.
like a loop, and I had it. But I think that was like just that kind of like the cool, unique,
Yeah.
just like personality and just style that Lupe had.
Yeah.
That
I
was
agree.
really set him apart from like everything else, or
Oh, yeah.
everybody else. You know?
Mixed with such good flow. It's like, it's crazy. You know, it wasn't just the style or the personality. It was just so much.
And it wasn't, as we kind of go through and we kind of like rediscover it, it was probably the last time we've had, how should I say this, truly intellectual conscious rap at a mainstream level.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the content of a J. Cole,
Yeah.
because I don't think J. Cole necessarily is going to get into like geopolitics the way that like a Lupe
Lupe
is.
does.
you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And I would say that he probably has a more conscious kind of like J. Cole is
Yeah.
conscious rap, right? But this is the last of like that Raucous Records Black Star type of content that I think
Right.
we've seen at this. You know, obviously it still exists, but I don't know if we've ever seen it at a mainstream level since this, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and give it a listen through. This is the intro.
Yeah.
Food and liquor stores rest on every corner, from 45th and State to the last standing Henry Horner. J&J's, Hill Chicken, Good Finger Licking, while they sin, gin, sin at Rothschilds and Kenwood Liquors. The winos crooked stagger meets the high stride of the youth searching for the truth. They rebel and raise hell across alleyways and in classroom settings. They get high off that trunk bass and 2020 rims. They rock braids, Air Force Ones and Tims. They drink Hennessy, Hypnotic, and 40s. They call their women hoes, bust downs and shorties. They keep funeral homes in business and gunshot wards of hospitals full, prisons packed, bubbling over in brown sugar. They keep empty west side lots crowded, hypes powdered. The well is running dry. The days of Malcolm and Martin have ended. Our hope has descended, and I sit aside, waiting for the reinstallment of the revolution, because we are dying at the cost of our own pollution. But God has another solution that has evolved from the hood. I present one who turns the fiasco to good.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It's dedicated to my grandmother. Peace and much love to you. Yeah. And it starts. First and 15, proudly present. You know what it is. See, I got this philosophy, right? I think the world and everything in it is made up of a mix of two things. You got your good, you know, and your bad. You got your food and your liquor. That's right. Chilly chill. You already know. It's a long time coming. I give you my heart, my soul, my mind, my thoughts, my feelings, my experience. Nothing more and nothing less. Yes, F&F. So, with no further ado, Lupe, Fiascos, food, and liquor. Food and liquor. Yeah, my man said he wanted something real, 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 real. Yeah, something he could recognize, something he could feel, 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 feel. Baby girl said she was in the mood for something real, 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 real. Something that could make her move, something she could feel, 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 feel. Lust sometimes can override trust. She said that's why she gave it up. My man said blood spilled out of everything he touched. He crushed everything he crushed, ruined everything he loved. He just wanted the rush. Blamed it on the times being rough, doing dirt with the devil, chasing after the dust. Make a fuss if it's them, but we hush if it's us. That's why my mama said she wanted something real, 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 real. Something she could be proud of, something she could feel, 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 feel. She said they so used to not having nothing real, 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 real. That they don't know how to act, they don't know how to feel, 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 feel. Life ain't meant to come around twice. Yeah, that's why I gotta get it right. They said I got it honest, now I gotta give it light. But sleep on it, that's why God give you night. I mean, I had a dream that God gave me flight. Fly for my own good, so God gave me plight. If I wake up in the morning, now I gotta give him sight. Make him see, break him free. Ain't a G, show you ride, show you ride. The game is not to give him nothing real, 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 real. Nothing that they could use, nothing that they could feel, 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 feel. Give him a bunch of lies and teach him that it's real.
You know, I always feel like this was such a good intro song.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there is one. It's one of those things where it's one of those albums that we kind of tend to land on a lot when we are covering albums on book club, where it has one producer that it relies on for majority of it. Obviously,
Right.
there's other people that pop up, but
Yeah.
a majority of it done by Soundtrack, right?
Mhm.
Which was like an in-house type of guy, right? And there's this reoccurring theme of this, like this guitar kind of sample, or I don't know, maybe it's actually a real guitar that's played, that always gives me this feeling of, it's like the closest thing we would have to like a modern like Curtis Mayfield album, like
Okay.
a 70s type of there's not many, or I say Curtis Mayfield specifically because I don't think there's many from that time period that I can really just like kind of pull up. You know, there was different kinds of like funk, there was different kinds of soul music, James Brown, pop, and all this, but it gives almost like a 70s movie, like a it's hard for me to describe specifically because it's a modern take on that, you know?
Okay.
But it always made it feel like this older album, and it, at like 16 it kind of gave me this importance, almost like I've realized, like I recognized in the moment I was listening to like modern oldies.
Right.
Like I'll be able to go back to it now, you know,
Yeah.
like 15 years, 16 years later, and have a nostalgic feel already attached to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. I know the connection that you're trying to make in the sense of exactly that sensibility. You know, where you listen to something, it brings you back to a certain time period, or it gives you the same vibes as something from a different time period. Like you mentioned, you said it feels like a lot like a 70s song to you, like something Curtis Mayfield would have done.
Right.
So I know that, you know, having that little connection with songs and not being able to explain it and kind of understanding like it's just gonna be me, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I
right,
totally
good.
get
Okay.
that. I didn't get those same vibes as you. I thought the production on this was okay. I actually don't like those guitars you mentioned on this too much. I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're the most captivating like strings on this album. Period. Uh, but nonetheless, I think it still fits as the first actual song perfectly fine because he's not bringing anything heavy, intense, or any of his, you know how this album's gonna get.
Right,
He's not
right.
bringing anything too deep into it. It's just something on the surface level, and basically, it's like his thesis statement to the essay that food and liquor will become.
Right.
And I think it's a great thesis statement. Thesis statements just need to be straight to the point, and this is.
And also featuring
Sarah Green, yeah?
said the mic is clipping. Let's do this real quick. We're gonna be right back.
Or
Okay. It's Sarah Green, a my phone is charged. What is going on? A F&F artist.
she is?
Yeah.
I think so, right? I was never sure if she signed to the label or not. Because I know there was also Nikki Jean, but I'm not sure if Nikki Jean signed to the
Both of
label
them
or
both
not.
were.
Oh, both Nikki
Yeah.
Jean and okay. Gotcha.
And
And of course, Gemini.
right, right, right.
Okay. Intro was a sister. Her name is Aisha Yako or Jaco. Not sure, maybe Jaco. I don't know how they pronounce her last name. His name is like Wasalu Jaco. But yeah, and it's been his sister reciting poems throughout most of his albums to this day. Even yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I believe she did it in Drill Music in Zion last year as well. Yeah.
But I liked it was a good and I like that the sound is pretty consistent. Even down to the things that I think you're kind of pointing out, like the eagle in pressure. How, and I agree. It's something that makes me not. It's like a thing that I don't necessarily like about the song, but I feel like it keeps this consistent kind of like 70s, almost like blaxploitation film type of like from top
I
to
see
bottom.
what you're saying
You know
there.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it would be like a Superfly soundtrack, or it would be like a.
The eagle does give a freaking 70s vibe
very
for
weird,
sure.
almost like kung fu movie ish.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
this consistency that I think we hadn't really seen since like maybe Wu-Tang albums. It's funny because we were just kind of I was comparing RZA kind of to Lupe in that same kind of nerd fandom lore, and that he's able to kind of pull it from, and I think that's pretty cool. The next song here that we have is the one, the only.
Kick.
I
Push.
take that back. This was the first song I heard. I had heard Kick Push before I had heard Touch the Sky.
Okay.
So I had a. Is that true? That's not true. I heard Kick Push after.
Because the late registrations, is it March of 2005?
Late registration was October, September.
Yes, okay.
It was right around Katrina.
Okay. And then this is September 06?
But the single had came out well before the album.
Sure,
remember back
of
then,
course,
like a single came out like a
absolutely.
year almost
They might not
before.
even make the album to this
Right.
day, actually. But yeah,
It's true.
that's a good point.
And, this is kind of interesting because I think this is like a testament almost to what the album, another debut album that we're doing. One that definitely doesn't have the same, because it comes a little bit before the albums that we've kind of talked about and covered, where it's like, does it have the checkbox of the debut album, song for the lady, song for the the club? It's before that, and I think it was back when there was a bit more creative leeway, I guess they would give artists. I just want to say, maybe not all artists, but at least they gave Lupe that much. I mean, his first single was a song about skating.
It really doesn't mark any boxes. I think they must have loved the beat, the melody of the beat, just this flow. and just gave it a go. And luckily, it struck. I remember this was big. The music video would get a lot of plays on like BET. I remember even someone play on the radio, which is crazy to say. You know, like I would not expect Kick Push to be on the radio today.
Right. No, I think that it was such a unique time, I think, in hip hop. I think it's what makes this album really special. Is it was we had just seen the rise of Kanye.
That was good. Yeah.
Pharrell was, skating also and kind of a big deal at that time.
They paved the way for this to happen, right?
Right. Along with, I think, I think Jay-Z had just retired actually. But we were kind of still in this lyrical hip hop is popular mainstream hip hop type of form. So we were kind of getting the best from all of these things. We were getting like the fashion sensibilities from like a Pharrell. We were getting like a unique storytelling like a college dropout Kanye was. We were getting a lyrical kind of
it's funny you mentioned that because there's also Child Rebel Soldier with the three of them.
Right. So it was definitely a Food and Liquor would never be able to exist in today's. At least, I mean, I'm sure some guy can make an album but the fact that it was like Atlantic Records spent a lot of money to make this happen. Who else? What other rapper with this kind of content would be able to afford like a Jay-Z verse? Yeah. Or whoever the Jay-Z of now would be, a Drake verse, whoever, that expensive one would be. So it was a cool time where almost lyrics were cool. And I wouldn't even say like, that sounds like very boomer to say, but more so like,
it was appreciated.
Yeah, this kind of lyricism. And as we listen through, I think we're going to kind of come to this conclusion of, J. Cole is the lyrical rapper of the time. Yeah. Maybe even a Kendrick. And Lupe would wrap circles around both of them.
Oh, yeah. I think it's one of the best.
Lyrical, ability. Yeah. So let's go ahead and give Kick Push a listen.
What up, y'all? Yeah, soundtrack, what's poppin', baby? Woo! If y'all ain't know, I go by the name of Lupe Fiasco, representing that 1st and 15. Yeah, and this one right here, I dedicate this one right here to all my homies out there grinding. You know what I'm saying? Legally and illegally. You know what I'm talking about? So, check it out. First got it when he was 6, didn't know any tricks. Matter of fact, first time he got on it, he slipped, landed on his hip and busted his lip. For a week he had to talk with a list like this. Now we can end the story right here, but shorty didn't quit, it was something in the air. Yeah, he said it was something so appealing, he couldn't fight the feeling, something about it. He knew he couldn't doubt it, couldn't understand it. Branded, since the first kick flip he landed. Labeled a misfit, a bandit. Cocoon, cocoon, cocoon. His neighbors couldn't stand it, so he was banished to the park. Started in the morning, one stopped after dark. Yeah, when they said it's getting late in here, so I'm sorry, young man, there's no skating here. And so we kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. And away he rolled, just a rebel to the world with no place to go. And so we kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. So come and skate with me, just a rebel looking for a place to be. So let's kick and push and coast. My man got a little older, became a better roller. Yeah, no helmet, hell-bent on killing himself, is what his mama said. But he was feeling himself, got a little more swagger in his style. Met his girlfriend, she was clapping in the crowd. Love is what was happening to him now. He said I would marry you, but I'm engaged to these aerials and varials, and I don't think this board is strong enough to carry two. She said bow, I weigh 120 pounds. Now, let me make one thing clear, I don't need to ride yours, I got mine right here. So she took him to a spot he didn't know about, some odd in the apartment apartment parking lot. She said, I don't normally take dates in here. Security came and said, I'm sorry, there's no skating here. And so they kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push.
I just want to point something out
Mhm.
that I think is sometimes songs that we cover on book club have just kind of been so intertwined into our lives that it kind of is just like, okay, Push has kind of always been around.
Yeah.
And if we were to listen to this any other point that's not like the book club, it would just be like, oh, I haven't heard Kick Push in a long time.
Yeah.
But this always gives us like a second to kind of analyze it a little bit differently. I just
Right.
kind of want to point out that this is a song about somebody learning how to skateboard and like how it's integrated into their lives.
Yeah.
On the surface, this is a song that should not work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like on the surface, this is not the fact that he was able to make it compelling, I think is what it's that bit of skill of storytelling
Are you
that I don't think anybody really comes close to.
are you saying this is a better skate song than Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne?
Nothing beats that. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like this is
Skater
a
Boy is.
very close second.
I said, "See ya later, boy."
SK8 number 8 TER. Like come on. Let's
He
not
was
get
a
ahead of
skater
ourselves
boy.
here.
I said, "See ya later, boy."
See you like a text.
See you later.
T9
boy.
3 space you.
This is a close second though.
Very close second.
Yeah.
And like because as I was kind of going back and kind of reminiscing over the lyrics, right, I was like, okay, I'm now remembering that this is just a song about somebody who's skating, right? And I was kind of just listening through and like, what makes this so compelling? Like, what is so good about it? I think the level of detail, the like just the
the sound.
lisp like this, like those kind of things that really paint this really vivid picture.
Those are great examples.
That I think like Nas is able to do things like this, you know. There's not many people who do it to this level.
Yeah.
To the point that I'm already after Nas, and like there's other great storytellers. Don't get me wrong, you know.
Right.
A Slick Rick does it to this degree.
Yeah.
You know, let's not forget the classics, but there's something that's just so compelling about this storytelling about a song that should just not work on the surface as a single. It shouldn't work as like a hit. I bet this charted pretty well. Like you said, it was on MTV. It was on BT. It was had radio play. You know, at times, the beat is really good, but there's just something about the way that he's able to tell a story about even something that could be the most mundane thing that I think is really special.
Right. No, it's great. You described it perfectly. I couldn't agree more.
Do you remember like where you were the first time you had heard this song? Do you have like any?
Nah, only thing I remember is I was in Milpitas High. I was just around that
You
time
ever
period.
skate?
Yeah, for less than a year. Probably like 6 months or so. And this was when I was in middle school
Okay.
in San Jose.
Were you ever able to do like a trick?
Yeah, I could to this day still ollie.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I could still ollie. Sometimes I go to Target and I find the skateboards and I see if I can, and I can. I can. But back then I was able to like do ollies, shove it's. I could land kick flips. I think I was like working on my heel flips or some shit. By the time I stopped, it wasn't for me. I didn't get good at it quick enough. So you know what they say: when you don't succeed at something right away, you gotta quit.
Right. Absolutely.
Just give up.
Just stop.
I don't even know why I gave it 6 months or whatever I did.
It's like the first time you tried, you just should have been like.
I know,
yeah.
like I'm
I
not
can't
doing
feel like,
900s.
what?
I'm done.
That's what happened to me.
You weren't doing 900s.
I couldn't. It was like, it's hard, too hard.
It is hard though.
but-
I just legit also realize it's not for me. You know what I mean? You kind of.
We should do a series on TikTok where every day Muhammad attempts a kickflip until Red Bull signs us into a deal.
Yes.
It's like every single day, just until you land it. Like make them promise like the day that you land it, they'll sponsor us. And we will
Dang, in that
cover
case,
the
I also
flying
want a
goods.
shorty sponsorship.
All that need that. We need.
Yeah.
You know what we need? We need a soap sponsorship.
Hey,
That's what we need
grind
right
with the
here.
shoes.
Yeah.
Dang, I never had soaps. Did
Me
you?
neither.
They
We
always
need to
look
bring them
fire.
back.
I know.
Soaps, hit us up.
Come
Hit us up. Come on. I know
Could
you
be
got
grinding
nothing
right
else
now.
going right now. Great song though. Great
Yeah,
moment.
classic.
Really classic. Truly a classic. Like that word
Yeah.
gets thrown around a lot, but truly classic. And then once again, it had like those strings that made me feel like this 70s type of production. You know, it's very hard for me to kind of put my finger on it, but it kind of follows throughout it. Next, we have the first non in-house producer.
Uh-huh.
It is I Gotcha, produced by Neptune's or Pharrell.
Neptunes. Yeah.
Oh, it's got like an actual Neptune.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people get the
Chat single or the Pharrell single.
right, and like the Pharrell single is like the meme like we got Neptunes at home. It was really just like a Pharrell single.
That's hella funny.
It's like, oh, okay, you know.
Nah, yeah, those two together is magic.
So let's jump into
Yeah.
it. This was the second single.
I think
Right?
so, yeah. Such a good one too.
Ho! Yeah. Yes, sir. Lupe. Chicago, man. Yeah. Man. You know I had ya. You know. They call me Lupe. I be your new day. They wanna smell like me. They want my bouquet. They can't. They accent it like the UK. Turn that Uday Lupe to Pepe Le Pew spray. Flagrantly fragrant and they can't escape it. My perfume pursued them everywhere that they went. You don't want a lonely, my cologne alone is a little too strong for you to be putting on. Trust me, I say this justly. I went from musty to musky and y'all can't mush me. I warn y'all cornballs, I hush puppies. The swans in the pond called my duck ugly, but now they hug me because it's lovely. They love the aroma of the world. Got the shakers and the skaters and the players and the girls. Keep the fakers and the flakers and the haters in the twirl. You want the flavor, ma? Hey, I gotcha. You want the realness? Well, I gotcha. I know you're sick of them niggas big car and watch ya. Either they pimps or they max or they mobsters. You want the real shit? Well, I gotcha. You see my niggas here? You know we proper. You know we do it right. You know we do it. And I'm from Chi-Town, that's why I flies round. Keep some Cartier frames over my eyes now. We used to gangbang, a lot of that then died down. Children of the hat tilting, keeping hope alive now. All with no high, I do it so fly. Banksy's attack helicopter with the bow tie. I love my city, really hope that God bless it. Had my mind moving faster than that hog in the hedges. Welcome all of y'all to my dark recesses. This is where I keep the bars like bathtub edges. My ivories and my doves, my levers and my zesses. It takes half of your bubble bath to match the freshness. The belly of the beast, you know I'm from it. I wrap it in a towel, here go my pal in the stomach. And I be on my green like Irish Spring. Then I coast fudge with it, get a mouthful of soap. You want the flavor, ma? Hey, I gotcha. You want the realness? Well, I gotcha. I know you're sick of them niggas big car and watch ya. Either they pimps or they max or they mobsters. You want the real shit? Well, I gotcha. You see my niggas here? You know we proper. You know we do it right. Yeah, you know we do it. And so to sign off, this beat I rhyme off. It's from Thelonious P and Hugo Mind Boss. You feel it in the air, it's such a fine force. But you don't hear me though, just like a mom's talk. That's cause I'm in Europe, me and my French tourer. I'm on my pimp, my temperature is tempura. I take it easy on my watch, I'm watching TV. And my cleanest, my Harishi, see the hair is trying to beat me. I continue to do lose pace. Them say him got 2 heads and 4 eyes, just like Screwface. But see my secret's safe, it's in my secret safe. That's in my secret room, on my secret base. So from the runner of the F&F crew, come in hip hop, we've come to resurrect you. You want the flavor, ma? Hey, I gotcha. You want the realness? Well, I gotcha. I know you're sick of them niggas big car and watch ya. Either they pimps or they max or they mobsters. You want the real shit? Well, I
Look, if there's one thing Pharrell is gonna do, he's gonna give you 3 keys on the piano.
Do you think Chad or Pharrell wore lederhosen while playing the accordion?
The accordion. Yeah, actually, little known fact, there was
Lupe also wore later.
a season of BBC
BBC.
that was supposed to have Lederhosen.
Mm.
They ended up just not being able to get the proper materials.
Ah, damn.
But there is some, like, if you go on eBay,
Uh-huh.
like
Prototypes and
Grailed or
shit.
something, like they have
nice.
some samples
Wow.
that are out there.
I would love to get my hands on those
Yeah.
suspenders and everything, huh?
Yeah, we got to do a we have to do one of these times, like just a straight up album of the accordion.
Oh,
Just like break it down,
starting with accordion.
starting with accordion. Maybe just do maybe that'd be like another special episode. We pick like one instrument and then go like all the beats we can find.
That's a really
like
good call.
songs that just have like accordions.
Yeah.
Starting with accordion have to be right.
That sounds sick. This would definitely make the cut. I think this is dope.
Right.
It's funny because like that line Banksy's attack helicopter with the bow tie, it just made me realize like how much Lupe, he's probably the one rapper that's made me like look up so much shit, like an insane amount of shit, or like my random knowledge shit is probably derived from just my love of listening to Lupe Fiasco and wanting to understand everything, so therefore
You're right, because you can go to Maharishi.
Yeah, that's another great call. So many references that you know you just end up looking up. Like the fact that he's naming so many different soap companies.
Right,
It's
exactly.
Like Levers and
Zest is Banksy, as you said, Cartier.
He made a Hugo Boss reference
Hugo
earlier.
Boss, correct.
Pepe Le Pew. Do
Accented
kids
like
know
the
who
UK
Pepe Le
does,
Pew is?
Because
I know mine
got
doesn't.
canceled.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he actually was
Oh.
taken out of Space Jam 2.
Oh, why? Just because he comes on strong on the little...
I mean, he's a little rapey.
Yeah, he
Let's
kind of
be honest.
is.
He's a little
That's
rapey.
true.
Let's just be honest.
That's
Like,
crazy that
it's
he got
called for what it
canceled
is.
though, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they canceled the old 1950s Mel Blanc, the fucking...
Oh, he did the voice, right? Mel
Yeah.
Blanc did the voice. Yeah, that's crazy shit. Yeah, no. As far as that goes, the only reason, like I was mentioning, mine don't is just because she doesn't mess with WB. I don't know if WB's what it was for them as it was for us.
Nah, because they don't have no fresh stuff.
Has to be.
They don't have nothing
right?
fresh. Like, they don't
Bugs
have-
Bunny,
and
Roadrunner,
you know,
none of that.
It's a shame because...
Even Space
that's-
Jam didn't interest her.
Yeah, I can see that. Because again, like, do we need a Space Jam 2, or could we have just, like, imagine having like the IP to like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and like Tweety Bird and doing nothing with it?
Uh-huh.
Like that, it was with all of this. Like, Bugs Bunny is a pretty easy character to bring back if you
Right.
actually gave it like a
Sure.
cool, fresh context.
Uh-huh.
But none of that just gave us Space Jam 2. Like, nobody asked for that.
Did you watch it by chance? As a
Hell no, I
sports
didn't watch
fan?
that.
No?
I didn't watch that shit. Nah, it didn't interest me. It didn't interest me because, like, you're gonna tell me the same story to a degree that Space Jam 1 was, and it's like,
With
it's
weaker
kinda
designed
useless.
characters, man. I saw some of the new villains that they're supposed to have on the opposing team that didn't compare to the Munstars?
Munstars, yeah. You know, Timo actually said something pretty cool. He said, "What if one episode y'all talk about some iconic, old-fashioned looks that rappers have done, or artists?" I'm sure Mo has a few bizarre looks from his goth artists. I think it'd be kind of cool, like going back and just even if we kind of just play music from, like, if we talked like the Dipset era, put up pictures of
So many
reference,
of
like things like that. Like, I think it'd be interesting because going through this, you bring up a good point that, you know, we've heard of like luxury brands in rap before. It's since Biggie, you know, even like Tupac and everything. Lupe was the first time that it kind of made you have to like really look something up.
Yeah.
And like, damn, what kind of obscure Japanese selvage denim, you know, period was this, or like brand? Like, you got to like look those things up. I remember I got into, because of Lupe, I got into like really good like Japanese selvage denim.
Nice. Uh-huh.
And it's funny. It's funny because it's like almost kind of embarrassing to retell now, but in the time it was like, you know, it was the thing.
Dope
right?
as hell. Shit, man.
We
We were young, so imagine this. We're like 15, 16, 17. At least we're like doing Lupe level shit. Looking back on it, would you rather have done Lupe shit or like
Lot 29 tall tees.
That Joel Santana advertised.
So I had saved
go.
up for there was like a couple jean brands. I can't even remember half of them, right?
Sure.
But I saved up for some actual nudie jeans.
Oh shit. Okay.
They were literally like $200. Like
Holy
it's like $200 like fucking 10 years ago.
Yeah,
15 years
more
ago,
than that.
whatever, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I started doing a lot of research because really when you just got like the selvage denim jeans, it was just like the straight indigo.
It's very
right?
rough. You're supposed to wear it out. Some people even take baths in them.
So that's what I did actually.
You took a bath in
Yeah,
it?
so I did a lot of research on how to get, because you want like they used to
Ink
call
to
them
wear
like
off,
honeycombs in the back. So like how it kind of how it
Loosens up or just
wrinkles, I guess. Not
yeah.
wrinkles, but like the marks that it makes, almost like stretch marks, right?
Yeah.
You want them to look a certain way and like be strategically placed. So I actually wore them in the bathtub and then just wore them around wet. Like I took like a walk around like the neighborhood with just like wet jeans, just so they would dry. I had them hang dry.
That's what you gotta do with
to get
salvage
that.
jeans. It's crazy.
A super funny, obscure moment that this just reminded me of. I was like deep in like message boards trying to figure out how to get the perfect honeycombs, like because you had to like, you wanted to get them faded by yourself, right? Like it were pre-faded.
How'd they come out?
It actually came out pretty good. Like for my first run, and I never bought another pair. Like that was $200 pair of jeans. I was wearing them motherfuckers all the time, right? What happened though is funny though is I got my size, not imagining that they were going to shrink in the process of this. So my dad used to always make fun of me because them motherfuckers was tight as fuck on me because they just kept getting tighter, right? It would be like
raw
the
denim.
tightest pair. It was damn near some leggings, but you know what?
Hey, that would have been in today though. In 2023, that's what it would have been all about. The tighter the jeans, the better.
I might have to, I don't see like really, like I'm sure in like for certain fashion circles, salvage denim would always be, Japanese. Matter of fact, why Japanese denim is so good is because you literally cannot. Indigo is native to Japan.
Oh, okay.
In a way that I believe lavender is native to America. It grows in like the actual indigo plant that they get the ink from grows in Japan.
Do we use indigo in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
Is it imported from Japan? Oh, okay. Is it only found in Japan then?
That is it.
Oh, wow.
It's only found in Japan. And
what does it do? Give the dye, give the hue of jeans or the material?
It's the dye. So to get like the actual like color, right?
Okay.
So that's why
shit, let's just fucking start rocking lavender color jeans. Don't outsource that shit.
Exactly.
Keep the jobs in America.
Right, American made jeans.
American made jeans.
So like, look, Levi, hit us up. Also,
come on, like, Levi Strauss.
Lavender jeans. We're gonna bring those to the forefront. What a weird memory that just brought it back, but that was pretty cool. So if you really want like a blast from the past right here, the next song is the instrumental, which I believe was
produced by
Mike Shinoda, right?
Fort Minor.
I
think Lupe in turn appears on the Fort Minor album too, right?
He is.
He
and
does,
that
right?
Fort Minor song was Arn Madden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
Fort Minor, I remember Fort Minor, like this is 10% luck, 50% skill. That used to dominate like high school and college highlight tapes for football.
I haven't heard that in hella long.
This one is instrumental. Let's give it a listen.
Not to be confused by instrumental.
Correct.
He just sits and watches the people in the boxes. Everything he sees, he absorbs and adopts it. He mimics and he mocks it. Really hates the box, but he can't remember how to stop it. So he continues to watch it, hoping that it'll give him something that he can box with. How the locksmith see the boxes locked in the box, ain't got the combination to unlock it. That's why he watch shit, scared to look away, cause at that moment it might show him what to take off the locks with. So he chained himself to the box, took a lock and then he locked it. Swallowed the combination and then forgot it. As the doctors jotted all down with their pens and pencils, the same ones that took away his voice and just left his instrumental like that. He never lies, he never lies, He never lies, he never lies, no. He never lies, 'cause he never said anything at all. He just sits and listens to the people in the boxes. Everything he hears, he absorbs and adopts it. Anything not coming out the box, he blocks it. See, he loves the box and hope they never stop it. Anything the box tell him to do, he does it. Anything you tell him to get, he shops and he cops it. He protects the box, locks it in the box when he goes to sleep. But he never sleeps cause he stays up to watch shit. Scared to look away, cause at that moment it might get stolen, and that's the last of the boxes. So he chained himself to the box, took a lock and then he locked it. Swallowed the combination and then forgot it. As the doctors jotted all down with their pens and pencils, the same ones that took away his voice, just left his instrumental like that. He never lies, he never lies, He never lies, he never lies, no. He never lies, 'cause he never said anything at all. He never lies, and you can't tell me just who you are. You buy no clothes just to hide those scars. You build that roof just to hide those stars. Now you can't take it back to the start. And you can't tell me just who you are. You buy new clothes just to hide those scars. You built that roof just to hide those stars. Now you can't take it back to the start.
Now, it wouldn't be. Timo said it's crazy hearing this again. It definitely was, because this is actually the song that was in Madden.
Yeah,
I think
this one was in.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be a Lupe album. Wouldn't be a Lupe experience if there wasn't at least one song that was a little bit too pretentious in the soapboxy, and I think that he can get away with it because he's a really talented and skillful writer, right? But definitely the classic, like, the box is the TV,
Yeah.
and the TV is gonna influence you with what the powers that be want to influence you with. Which, I mean, he's not wrong, but it's just like this really extensive metaphor for like TV bad.
Yeah, it is. I liked it. I always liked this song. I think it's great. It is soapboxy, it's preachy, but he spits, bro. It's like one of those memes where it's like, like what they say with Kanye, but yeah, he made Graduation,
Right,
but
I mean,
it's like,
definitely
yeah, he spits.
not a
Yeah,
lot of
it
people
really
can get
is.
away with
Yeah.
it. Like if and I hate that I end up picking on J. Cole, but he's like the conscious rapper of the moment, right? I always end up doing that. Like J. Cole, I literally don't have a problem with you. Like,
my
I think
favorite
you're cool.
feuds that you have are J. Cole, Eminem, and all of Odd Future. No. But I get you.
J. Cole, like, I actually don't have a problem with J. Cole.
I'm a big fan. Don't listen to him.
And if I keep going, it's like, no, it's just what J. Cole represents. And it's like, that even sounds worse. It's like, I don't have a problem with J. Cole. Like, I'm sure he's a cool dude. He plays like basketball and shit. Like,
That was the part where you mentioned you don't have a problem with the person you have a problem with. And then you mentioned one good quality briefly, basketball.
this has nothing to do with.
I hear, he takes care of his daughter.
He seems to be a good parent.
He renews his driver's license on time every 5 years, so I can't complain there. But
he hasn't had a driving ticket and has a traffic violation in years.
But otherwise,
but like, I think it's like the closest thing that you can compare. Like, that's the closest thing we have to it, and I think that
it is
anybody trying to kind of pull something off. I think even Kendrick would have a hard time pulling off some Lupe type of subject.
Like with an album like Mr. Morale, like it's just this and the Cool were albums that you could just bump at any time. You don't need to be in a mind state where you gotta be preached or really absorb shit, despite the fact that it is that way. You could bump instrumental, not wanting to tune into the lyrics and just let the beat and the flow play, right? But I feel like with albums, like as much as I love them, but with like To Pimp a Butterfly and Mr. Morale, you just gotta be in a certain mood.
You know what it is?
Good Kid, Mad City isn't it? It doesn't. It's not like that, and neither is Damn. That
True.
one is you could just whatever.
Right.
But the other two is like I need to like wash my hands, sit down, and clean out my ears and
Get ready for
yeah. But what makes it that you were saying?
You know what? I it just kind of hit me right now. What Lupe does that they don't do, both of them. And what you really don't
J. Cole
see
has
in
those moments
general,
for sure too.
You don't see any artist now. Nobody's really clever with punchlines and metaphors, and I think that he was always able to, meaning Lupe, it's like accented like the UK, like those kind of bars interwoven into things with serious matter. I think that's what kept it compelling, and that's what kept it interesting, and Jay-Z was good at that, and Nas is good at that. I think
that's an excellent
now like if you look back to like your favorite To Pimp a Butterfly songs, like the Mr. Morale, like if you looked at that, or like even like the best J. Cole songs that have like serious subject matter, they don't have a lot of metaphors,
right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of very just heavy-handed, like this is the point I want to get across, and I think that it works, but it also can kind of cause a casual listen to like kind of shy away. Whereas I feel like with this, it's good rapping in a classic matter, whereas I think that the problem with maybe like a Lil Wayne is like we get like a lot of some of these metaphors, punchlines,
but no story,
right? Like there wasn't the subject matter wasn't serious enough for you to like learn something, or like to kind of catch you in like a deeper thought.
It seems more like another story just to be made for the album.
Right.
Yeah, like it probably didn't even happen type of deal. Not that most of these things ever do happen, but it's like you're just making a song to make a song.
Right.
I think that's why Lupe's music, especially during this time period, also just warrants a re-listen so much, because there's something new every time. Even now listening to this, I'm like, damn, I never caught some of these lyrics before. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's something new every time. Whereas with some of these other artists, once you get the message, that's really it.
There's nothing that like when we listen to like No Ceilings, let's say, right? I don't think there's anything that, as at my age right now, listening to No Ceilings for the first time in a long time, that I caught and was like, my age and the maturity and life experiences have made me look at that bar differently. It was more so just nostalgic and like, oh, that was a funny bar, like an interesting bar, or whatever. I think that with an album like this, or just like Lupe in general, I feel like every time I kind of give this a new re-listen, I have more life experience, and I have more, I don't know, wisdom or just, knowledge of just whatever. I can catch things, even the same bar that wowed me at 16 is wowing me in different ways, like
that's a great point.
This point. So I think that, and like there's very few, and I keep going back to it, but I think the only other artist that truly will make me feel like that is like a Nas. Like if I go back and listen to like Stillmatic once again, or like Godson, like once again, it's like wow, like this is impressive, because now I get it, I get it with different contexts, and I get it with just the age that I've kind of had with it.
I agree. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And artists like Lupe and Nas really are of that caliber.
It's good writing. I think that's like what it really is. And I don't know if I would feel that with a Kendrick album. Like I don't know if I would go back and listen to Good Kid, Mad City now rather than 10 years ago and feel like my life experiences like helped me understand this a little bit more, or like I just don't know. Maybe
it makes it tough, because both like say Section 80 and like Good Kid are just at the core of it, they're gangster albums, bro. It's gangster rap.
Right.
It doesn't mean gangster rap can't be conscious or lyrical. Like what the fuck? It can be, but it's like this isn't gangster rap, and that's what helps me with J. Cole, that he necessarily isn't. So even as a J. Cole fan, I find it kind of funny sometimes when he makes gun references. But like sometimes they're just so cool that you can't even be mad at it. Like he has this line where he says, I treat a ride through the hood like a hike through the woods. I have a stick that I keep with me. Like that's dope, but But you don't. You do it in the woods. You do have a stick in the woods,
Right.
but not in the
Right.
hood. But like, I think Kendrick ultimately, he just has his own little path. I think.
Right. I think Kendrick is more in the spirit of like an Ice Cube.
Yeah, that's a great
You know,
comparison.
like
yeah.
it's street rap, but it's told from the perspective of more of an observer that's kind of in the middle of it, rather than somebody who's actively involved in doing the things. And you know, it's interesting too, because Lupe also had that environment growing up. I just think what I'm realizing right now, at least personally in this listen through, is there's Kendrick, who's an amazing artist, who's a fantastic writer, he's won the Pulitzer Prize, 4 albums. There's still a level that Lupe kind of reaches that it's out of that kind of reach, and I think that, possibly Kendrick, maybe you can say, has access to better production. Maybe Kendrick makes better songs and hooks and like more engaging, like Damn can be played in the club, but you probably like bumped in the car, and you probably can't do that with a lot of Lupe songs. But when it gets down to just like the nuts and bolts of putting together like just good rap, good hip hop songs, good storytelling, good writing, interesting metaphors, there's never been a bar that Kendrick dropped where I was like, what brand is that?
Yeah.
Like, what artist is he referring to? And like, there's very few that kind of cover all of these kind of grounds that Lupe does.
I think we're curious people, and we just need artists that pique our curiosities.
Right.
And keep it going.
Right. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's stimulating.
Yeah.
In a lot
that's
of
a great
in a lot
point,
of different ways, and a lot of layers to that.
Yeah.
Next one is He Say She Say.
Of course, this song reuses the hook for Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff. It's all about what he say, she say.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. He actually, Fred Durst has some writing credits.
Yeah, they had to get that clear sample, because
Right.
Lupe just goes in, shows another aspect of like, oh, Limp Bizkit fan, wow.
Exactly, didn't know. You would never thought.
It's all about what he say, she say.
I can't, I won't, I can't, I won't let you leave. I don't know what you want from me.
She said to him, I want you to be a father. He's your little boy, and you don't even bother. Like brother without the aura, and he's starting to harbor. Cool on food for thought, but for you he's a starver. Starting to use red markers on his work. His teacher said they know he's much smarter, but he's hurt. Used to hand his homework in first, like he was the classroom starter. Burst in tears, let him know she see us. Now he's fighting in class. Got a note last week to say he might not pass. Asked me if his daddy was sick of us, cause you ain't never pick him up. You see what his problem is? He don't know where his papa is. No positive male role model to play football or build railroad models. Is making the hole, and you been digging it, cause you ain't been kicking it since he was old enough to hold bottles. He wasn't supposed to get introduced to that. He don't deserve to get used to that. Now I ain't asking you for money or to come back to me. Some days it ain't sunny, but it ain't so hard. Just breaks my heart when I try to provide, and he say, mommy, that ain't your job. To be a man, I try to make him understand that I'm his #1 fan. But it's like you born from the stands. You know the world is out to get him, so why don't you give him a chance? It's like, I can't, I won't.
I will say with this song, I do think this is a song that Kendrick can make.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like this is
Absolutely. This is what Mr. Morale is.
right.
A bunch of songs like
Right,
this.
right. And I think that the way that Lupe can get, because if I'm not mistaken, the second verse is, I think, the same verse, but told from like his perspective. So it's the pronouns he's using is different.
Right,
It's more
exactly.
I rather than he. And I think that is something specifically that Kendrick can do well.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there is a sense of
he has great theme. Kendrick has great themes in his songs. It's just
Right.
what we discussed was strictly lyricism. I know it
Right.
sounds like so weird and snobbish and like, oh, we're talking about lyrics and but that is what it ultimately is. Like, I think theme wise and when it comes to like tying ideas together, they're both great. And I think Kendrick is far better at it than honestly, even maybe even Lupe is, considering what the stuff Lupe put out after the Cool. You know what I mean? There
Right.
are some that like it shows that greatness again, but there's a lot of projects he has out there that are just Lucy's basically.
Right.
But I think he also does it better than J. Cole. I think J. Cole's best album in the full concept one would probably be KOD. The other ones are just like again, it feels like Lucy's.
Right. Like, yeah, I think what is that? Forest Hills Drive like has
Yeah.
the bigger songs
Right.
like of his career.
But they're all over the place.
Yeah, like there's not a constant theme, and
Yeah.
I think that when it comes to themes, as you said, I think Kendrick might be the best at
Yeah.
consistently being able to.
Tie everything together
Right.
as far back as Section 80 when he's just like putting similar characters in various songs,
Right.
abused women,
Right.
yeah, just his vices, her vices, etc., etc. He's good.
Yeah, he may be the best at that.
Yeah.
But kind of like you
The
said,
Cool, another great concept album too, but
right. And the Cool is, and I think this is what Kendrick does that's probably better. The Cool is a really good. It's a really good album. But to understand the concept, you have to get like really, really far deep into it, and it on just a casual listen, it's not going to jump out to you
Yeah, I
and make
agree.
sense. You kind of have to read like a blog post that he has that kind of makes it make more sense.
Yeah.
Whereas I think you can listen to even something like To Pimp a Butterfly and like the first run through, get like I got a really good general idea of
Yeah.
what direction this is in, and every listen is going to help improve that to where you can listen to the Cool and still be lost in like what
I agree.
like Ken or like Lupe would have to then re-explain like something that is not obvious,
Yeah.
on it, and you can listen to the songs and it's like my cool young, like you have to
Yeah.
like be very, and I think that that's cool for like a Lupe fan that wants to just dive in deep with that, but maybe not a casual listener. And I think
That makes sense. I agree.
Where Lupe shines in just pure lyricism of just like there's probably nobody better at that. I think conceptually Kendrick is maybe the best ever at being able to consistently take
Yeah.
an album and take a theme and
Flesh it out.
right.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. It's just again, I guess it goes back to what do we end up playing more?
Right.
What was that word you used? Holy shit! Oh, what peaks or what stimulates us?
Right.
And again with Kendrick, and I think it's in a lot of things where once like you feel like you've learned as much as you can about it, certain things just kind of like lose your interest, and you go on to the next thing that it might be. Kendrick, you could very well absorb an album of his or whatever over a few listens, understand that you got the gist of it and move on. Whereas with, again, as you say, with Lupe, there's just so many layers that you don't even want to overdo it. You don't even want to make it a project. You just want to let it happen,
Like how often are you gonna listen to, are you gonna watch like The Revenant? Is that the movie with the Leonardo and the bear?
Yeah, Hugh
Like,
Glass.
How
Yeah.
often are you gonna watch like The Aviator? Like how often are you gonna watch like these 3-hour movies that have
Uh-huh.
Whereas and that's kind of how I feel about Kendrick albums is I give it a good listen, maybe a few listens. I'll pick the songs that I kind of like out of it,
Yeah.
and then do I really want to sit through that feeling and emotion again? Maybe at some point later,
Yeah.
but not consistently. Whereas I
agree,
think
yeah.
there was a lot of replay value in Food and Liquor, and if I were to keep it in the same metaphor, like I might watch Inception a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I might find, even though it's kind of has like the same artistic values and like deeper concept, blah blah blah, but I might it's more interesting more stimulating.
Yeah.
From He Say She Say to the third single, I believe was a music video for
Daydreamin'
this one.
with
Daydreaming
Jilly
with
from Philly.
Joe from Philly.
asleep beneath the flowers.
I fell asleep beneath the flowers.
For a couple of hours.
For a couple of hours.
On a beautiful day.
On a beautiful day.
Daydream.
Daydream.
I dream of you amid the flowers.
I dream of you amid the flowers.
For a couple of hours.
For a couple of hours.
Such a beautiful day.
Such a beautiful.
As I spy from behind my giant robot's eyes, I keep him happy cause I might fall out if he cries. Scared of heights so I might pass out if he flies. Keep him on autopilot cause I can't drive. Room enough for one, I tell my homies they can't ride. Unless we sitting on the shoulders, but that's way too high. Let's try not to step on the children. The news cameras filming this walking project building. Now there's hoes selling hoes like right around the toes. And the crackheads beg at about the lower leg. There's crooked police that's stationed at the knees. And they do drive-bys like up and down the thighs. And there's a car chase going on at the waist. Keep a vest on my chest. I'm sitting in my room as I'm looking out the face. Something to write about. I still got some damage from fighting the White House. Just a
daydream.
Daydream.
I fell asleep beneath the flowers.
I fell asleep beneath the flowers.
For a couple of hours.
For a couple.
Now, what I find kind of interesting here, in this one, and I kind of cut this song early because the song's always been interesting to me in this sense of, did he just make a whole song about just like a robot?
Yeah, it's crazy shit.
like it's almost like his version of a Lil Wayne song where it's like there's really no purpose in here, but somehow he made this song about a robot with Jill Scott on the hook just compelling.
It's crazy. It just like the dreamy nature of it just reminds me of like one of those like Captain Nemo books or like one of those old French style comics and such that they put out like in the 70s, 80s. I think it's just so very surreal because he's literally like, it's a, you know, my Iron Giant type of shit where it's a kid riding around in his robot staring behind it from, you know, the inside out, things like that. It's very descriptive. It's just, it's insane. It's I don't even know where to begin with this. The concept of a sleeping child. It's
It's like, it's truly it's one of those like one of one songs that like only Lupe could make.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if I had like a Lupe Fiasco starter kit that I made of like 5 songs that I would just kind of show somebody like, this is kind of what, these are the songs where it's like, you are not going to get these anywhere else. There's not going to be another artist that even thinks about making another song like this. And it's just very unique in that way. Like
it's so hard to make that song and also sound good making that song.
Right.
You know, like sometimes you think about concept songs rappers do and it's just so bad.
This song can very easily be corny. It can be whack. It could be like very easily like it walks a fine line, but it like tightrope walks it. You know, like it does a flip on the tightrope.
It really does. A giant robotic flip.
Sarah said makes a good vitamin water commercial because it was in a vitamin water commercial.
Oh, did not know that.
That is true. It actually was. Yeah, no, it was. It actually was. I remember that. We're gonna do a couple songs here. I'm gonna do I want to cover these two because I feel like these are a bit of a, I feel like these are also songs that Lupe does that not a lot of people can do.
Okay.
So this one, Hurt Me So. Let's jump into this one.
Stuff. Yeah. Yeah. This one right here. I dedicate this one right here to everybody out there. You dig? Check it out. Now I ain't trying to be the greatest. I used to hate hip hop. Yep, because the women degraded, but too short made me laugh. Like a hypocrite, I played it. A hypocrite, I stated, though I only recited half. Omitting the word bitch, cursing, I wouldn't say it. Me and dog couldn't relate till a bitch I dated. Forgive my favorite word for hers and hers alike, but I learned it from a song I heard and sorta liked. Yeah, further ice and glamorized drug dealing was appealing, but the block club kept it from in front of our building. Gangsta rap based filmings became the building blocks for children with leaking ceilings, catching drippings with pots, coupled with compositions from Pac. Not as it was written in the mix with my realities and feelings, living conditions, religion, ignorant wisdom, and artistic vision. I began to jot, tap the world and listen. It dropped. My mom can't feed me, my boyfriend beats me. I have sex for money, the hood don't love me. The cops wanna kill me, this nonsense built me, and I got no place to go. They bomb my village, they call us killers. Took me off they welfare, can't afford they healthcare. My teacher won't teach me, my master beats me, and it hurts me. I had a ghetto boy bop, a Jay-Z boycott, cause he said that he never prayed to God, he prayed to God. I'm thinking godly, God guard me from the ungodly. But by my 30th, watching the streets is watching, I was back to giving props again, and that was bothering. But it's uncomfortable as the untouchable touching you. The theme songs that niggas hustle to seem wrong, but these songs was coming true, and it was all becoming cool. I found a condom on the ground that Johns were coming to, and thought what constitutes a prostitute is the pursuit of profit. Then they drop it, the homie in a suit, pat her on the butt and rock it. It seems I was seeing the same scene, adopted, prevalent in different things, with the witnesses indifferent to stop it. They said don't knock it, mind your business. His business is a mind, and that nigga pimpin' got it. They took my daughter, we ain't got no water. I can't get higher, that cross on fire. We all got suspended, I just got sentenced, so I got no place to go. They threw down my gang sign, I ain't got no hang time. They talk about my sneakers, poisoned our leader. My father ain't seen me, turn off my TV, cause it hurts me so. So through the Grim Reaper, sickle sharpening, Macintosh marketing, all you feel arguing, Brazilian adolescent disarmament, Israeli occupation, Islamic martyrdom precise. Yeah, laser guided targeting, oil for food bartering, terrorist organization harboring, saying camouflage army men, CCF sponsoring, world conquering, telephone monitoring, Louis Vuitton modeling, pornographic actress honoring, string theory pondering, bulimic vomiting, Catholic priest fondling, preemptive bombing, and Osama and Obama them. They breaking in my car again, deforestation and overlogging in Hennessy and hypnotic swallowing, hydroponic coughing in. All the world's ills, sitting on chrome 24-inch wheels like that. They say I'm infected, this is why I injected. I had it aborted, we got deported. My laptop got spyware that I can't lie here, but I got no place to go. I can't stop eating, my best friend's leaving. My pastor touched me, I love this country. I lost my earpiece, I hope y'all hear me, cause it hurts me so.
You know, I think that this is my favorite song from the album. And why that is, and why it's always kind of held this like interesting place, is in the Fader cover that he was on in that article. This was a song that was referenced by lyrics. So they were talking about like, this is before the album had came out. They were talking about like this, there's a song here that has this, that talks about these ideas and these themes, right? So something that I kind of anticipated going into, and right before you had said, or right before that last verse, you're like, he spazzes here, and it was, I forgot how much he spazzed here. And I think that and I think this kind of ties into what you're saying about Lupe Fiasco was truly like an artist for us, because even the self-reflection and questioning of, hey, I really like Too Short and I like Jay-Z.
It's
but
crazy.
It's also like almost like goes against my morals. Like it's not my reality, so it's not something that I necessarily want to praise, but it's so good that how do I not
do it,
enjoy it, you know, or how do I enjoy it?
Right. You know? That's a great point you're making. Lupe Fiasco's Muslim, and you know, I was raised Muslim. So it's interesting, like he begins the song in itself by saying astaghfirullah, which is Arabic. It basically means like just God forgive us, I believe. And just starts it off in a sense repenting, right? And then he just goes on to that whole thing, and then he makes the point where it's in what is it in the evils where Jay-Z says I never prayed to God, I prayed to God,
yeah.
right? It's in the evils, right? So just the fact that he makes the reference, it's funny because even back then for me as a kid, like as a Muslim kid, like if anybody like made any sacrilegious references, it kind of affected me, and I would look at that artist or like, you know, person, whatever celebrity was different, and it would kind of like weird me out from them.
Right.
So it's just so very relatable. I mean, as he mentions through, or as the point throughout the song is, eventually just get on with it as well, and you just make that sacrifice in a sense, and just,
You know, that's
like, yeah, you just, yeah, exactly that.
That's
Like
a-
shit. God, sorry, but he made reasonable doubt. He gave us graduation. Forgive me.
you know, that's a really interesting personal reflection of, because I was one of these early songs. It kind of hit me that we really don't. There's not many, not that they don't exist at all, but there's not many Muslim rappers that are like devout, traditional
yeah.
Muslim rappers, right? And
French Montana, bro. DJ Khaled, you don't see the big chain that says Allah on it?
hey,
Do you not see how devout he is by how big that chain is?
I haven't heard. I
The
haven't,
chain is God's chain.
I haven't heard
God did.
Khaled bars in a while, so excuse me. I haven't heard like a Hot 16 from in a minute.
Lil Durk, another great Muslim rapper. Lil Durk's Muslim.
Is he really?
He converted. His father was a Muslim minister while in prison. I believe his father converted in prison, then became like a preacher in Islam, and did that a lot. So he's
Did not know that.
yeah. There was this line where he says something along the lines where he calls himself the Allah of Chicago or something along the lines of that, which is sacrilegious.
Right.
So his dad called him up and let him know like that's not okay to do in Islam,
Right.
etc. So like he kind of retracted that. So
And
hey, he's staying pure. So,
And I guess more so
Yeah.
my point is,
but just random
I-
thoughts.
no, no, no,
I'm so
absolutely.
sorry.
No,
You
no,
would
it's
say
all-
like
it's all good.
devout Muslims or no.
but I think openly on tracks, and I think that
Right. There's that too.
maybe like Most Def, but there's very
Yeah. But he even isn't as open as he once was. To be.
But even just in this album, like there's Arabic phrases that he's
Yeah,
using. There's
right.
and I think that mixed in with, so I can like see how there's like a certain like a personal reflection that you can have, like growing up Muslim and experiencing that same kind of, what do I do with rap music?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had grew up religious, not Muslim, but
Right.
Christian.
Right.
And I think that there was always this kind of like, this is amazing. This is like
Yeah.
the most amazing thing I've ever heard. Like Pete Rock production is just
Yeah.
insane. And Wu-Tang Clan is so great. How do I kind of like balance
So
this
right,
idea
this-
of, and I think that
And the
before
over
I had-
sexualization was really hard to like grasp too. It's
Right.
like this is every music video was wild. It's like they can't be watching this.
And I never, and this is one of those things that like catching this in an older age is I never quite caught before the link of his first verse, two verses, where it was like, hey, this is how I'm kind of processing hip hop, to that last verse where he kind of just speaks about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And I think now listening to this, it kind of hit me just in this conversation. Like, it is the, what's the proper word? It's like this juxtaposition of almost just like general hypocrisy of, because there's never in the history of the world been anything like America.
Yeah.
Right. And growing up in America, there's a very slim. I know you had like spent some time in Germany when you were younger, so you might have a little bit, wider of an experience. But it's very hard for like me, who grew up in America my whole life. Both my mom and dad were American, so I was raised by Americans in general. It's very hard to imagine life that's not America, right? And inside of that, there's everything that he's kind of saying in this last verse, something that is just kind of a second nature of, I don't even want to call it necessarily like hypocrisy, but I guess it's kind of hypocrisy of, it is the most, it is like all of the values and the way that laws are written and the way that things are like from the beginning of America with this like religious tone. Yeah. But there's all of these kind of, I guess we can call it, evils that are kind of peddled and kind of forced in front of us, and kind of the sexualization that we kind of just see on TV. Like that is the way that it's, because you go to like Europe and there's like nudity. No. But it's because there's not this religious tone behind everything, it's not the same. It's not as obscene. You see the obscenity of things on TV like American, and there's like, because there's this religious tone behind us, and like I think that growing up, a lot of people grew up religious. Exactly. So there's this very weird way that you kind of interact with America. And there's a weird way that things are advertised and pushed to us, and there's we all have to some degree kind of sit and be like, this Tarantino movie is amazing, but it's really violent. You know what I'm saying? It is really, and we kind of use, we like to, like America likes to kind of make excuses for things. Like, is something like Call of Duty to where it's not like cartoonish, like, oh, like I'm zapping you with the laser, but like it's real, like kids are learning the build of guns, right. Through it. Is that okay? Like, do we kind of just make excuses for it because we like it? It's kind of like this idea, like what you just said, is like, wow, he made reasonable doubt. Because we enjoy doing it, there's still like this inherent guilt of, that's why we're making excuses for it. That's why people kind of are outwardly like, well, it's not video games' fault, it's not movies' fault, it's not this fault. And I'm not necessarily saying that it is. I'm just saying that when you have to be that outspoken about defending it, you kind of know in the back of your mind somewhere that it's not right. But this is America, though, and there's nothing like this. There is no other, and I think that's kind of what I'm catching right here in this listen now of like now, like in this moment right now, is it's kind of like I'm kind of dealing with this hypocrisy, but like let me kind of lay out kind of what this is where we're at. This is America. Like this is everybody kind of has to make exceptions. We were just talking about, I think it was last week, about you cancel who you don't like, right, and you make you save people from being canceled that you do like, because that's just kind of the name of the game,
right? Yeah, there's the hypocrisy, and it hurt me so bad.
We're gonna do one more, and I think after that, the perfect song to kind of end on here is American Terrorist. Now, I will say before this, because we probably won't get too deep into this, going to kind of wrap it up from here. But one thing that, if you were to look at Lupe's his career path, right, and you seen him on this what seemed like this rocket to stardom, the one thing that kind of tripped him up was, I remember this, and he was kind of canceled. Like he never was got the same kind of look again, or the track to superstardom was kind of derailed. I remember it was like at a concert. Matter of fact, I think it was at like a political rally type concert of Obama one. Made that reference to Obama's back in 06.
Yeah, 06 Obama reference, crazy stuff.
That's wild. He was actually, took shots at Obama for the drones attacks. in the
Oh,
Middle
that's
East.
right. Yeah.
And that was kind of the thing that, because at that point you couldn't really like, nobody had made those statements
Yeah.
before.
It's funny because now, like, I don't know if I feel like there's a bit of a consensus now amongst the general population that, like, the liberal population at least, that just all presidents suck. And he legit did do this. Whether Obama was a Democratic president or a Republican one, it doesn't matter. They were in fact responsible for it. So I feel like in this day and age, that's a bit more understood for the most part, where they all just fucking suck. But it's funny because back then, yeah, just going against Obama, it was like a big no-no.
And you kind of still, and this is right back to the kind of the hypocrisy of America that he's highlighted. It's like if anything, that concept has only strengthened to where it's only okay to criticize Obama's mishaps or things that we can kind of our consensus that weren't good, because he's no longer president, right?
Yeah.
By the time, because from Obama it was Trump, right? So now the side that was during that time saying like Obama's doing bad things is now making the excuses for the president. While the people who were kind of making excuses for the president are now pointing at the bad things the president's doing. And after, so now you kind of are seeing Republicans are like, yo, Trump did some bad things, right? But now you're seeing the other side make excuses for the current presidency, which just means in 8 years you'll be okay to talk about but like you said, you can't do that now. That's what Lupe did. You can't point out, hey, maybe this is bad right now, which was a legitimate statement to make, but you just couldn't make that. And it kind of derailed his career, and I don't think he ever had a fair shot from that point, from those comments.
R.I.P. Lupe.
Now, I
should have not fucked with the bomber.
I haven't really listened to much later, Lupe. How do you kind of like still give it a listen when it comes out?
Yeah, I listen to all this shit.
Do you think it's still
Nah. His last album, Drill Music in Zion, from 2022, I think it was like one track worth listening to. And it's called Autobotto, and I've probably listened to like 5 times or so. It's to that extent. Whereas these songs, bro, like countless times, dog. Like I don't even know. Like it's insane how many of these songs I know, like just by heart.
You know where he
not this
lost
Danish.
me? So I thought Superstar was amazing. I liked the Cool. Like when we were kind of going through this, I was like, oh, like the Cool is really good, right? It was The Show Goes On. That was where it was like, this is now
with the whole Atlantic deal,
right. And that was a whole fucking mess in itself. But I think that was where I kind of started. I always knew it was there. Like I think I listened to that album still, anyways. But because it was like lasers, right?
Food and Liquor 2, the Great American Rap album, is really fucking good. That came out, I forgot, maybe like 2014, 15. And then he had one more mixtape around that like 2013, 14, 15 era called Fahrenheit 2 and 30. It was he took the one first and 15th number and flipped it, or maybe it was just called Fahrenheit first and 15th.
Is that the one where he went over the American national anthem?
Oh no, that was pre-lasers. That was Enemy of the State. Enemy of the State and Friend of the People were both really good. We died.
Yeah. Is it because this isn't plugged in?
But yeah, I think some of his
oh, it's back.
Some of the stuff from the mid 2010s were cool, and I've gone back to even recently. But when it comes to like Droga's Light, Droga's Wave, that's not so much, or even Drill Music and Zion, not so much. No.
This has been a really cool, interesting run through of Food and Liquor, and it now seems only right that we take you down a song that probably still nobody will make to this day.
Yeah,
and it's
probably one of the most preachiest ones in this, though.
Right,
it's like doesn't pull any punches and just goes straight for preachiness. America bad.
Right. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't give you any subtlety here. But we'll go ahead and leave you off with this. This has been the Book Club. Once again, I am James Levine.
And I am Mohammed.
We'll see you next week where we might be playing Lil GoldenEye. I heard that that's
Hey.
right. Lil Birdie told me that the new GoldenEye dropped. And Red Bull, hit us up.
A Red Bull.
Close your mind, close your eyes, see with your heart. How do you forgive the murderer of your father? The ink of a scholar is worth 1,000 times more than the blood of a martyr. Terrorist. We came through the storm, nooses on our necks, and a smallpox blanket to keep us warm. On a 747 on the Pentagon lawn. Wake up, the alarm clock is connected to a bomb. Anthrax lab on a West Virginia farm. Shorty ain't learned to walk, already heavily armed. Civilians and little children is especially harmed. Camouflage Taurus, Bibles and glorious Qurans. The books that take you to heaven and let you meet the Lord there have become misinterpreted reasons for warfare. Reread them with blind eyes, I guarantee you there's more there. Rich must be blind, cause they ain't see the poor there. Yeah, need to open up a park, just close 10 schools, we don't need them. Can you please call the fire department? They down here marching for freedom. Burn down ATVs, turn their TVs on to teach them and move. The more money that they make, the more money that they make, the better and better they live. Whatever they wanna take, whatever they wanna take, whatever it is. The more that you wanna learn, the more that you try to learn, the better and better it gets. Americo Now the poor Ku Klux man see that we all brothers, not cause things the same, because we like the same color, and that's gray. Now that's Maine. Can't burn his cross, cause he can't afford the gasoline. Now if a Muslim woman strapped with a bomb on the bus with the seconds running give you the jitters, just imagine an American-based Christian organization planning the poison water supplies to bring the second coming quicker. Nigga, they ain't living properly. Wreck 'em all for a little democracy. Turn their whole culture to a mockery. Give them Coca-Cola for their property. Give them gum, give them guns, get them young, give them fun. But if they ain't giving it up, then they ain't getting none. And don't give them all, now man, just give them some. It's the paper, some of these cops must be Al-Qaeda, nigga. The more money that they make, the more money that they make, the better and better they live. Whatever they wanna take, whatever they wanna take, whatever it is. The more that you wanna learn, the more that you try to learn, the better and better it gets. Americo The more money that they make, the more money that they make, the better and better they live. Whatever they wanna take, whatever they wanna take, whatever it is. The more that you wanna learn, the more that you try to learn, the better and better it gets. Americo Don't give the black man food, give red man liquor. Red man food, black man nigga. Give yellow man tool, make them railroad pillar. Also give them pen, make them pull gold from river. Give black man crack, Glock and things. Give red man craps, slot machines. Now bring it back, 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 bring it back. Don't give the black man food, give the red man liquor. Red man food, black man nigga. Give yellow man tool, make them railroad pillar. Also give them pen, make them pull gold from river. Give black man crack, Glocks and ting. Give the red man craps, slot machines. Now bring it back, bring